the mood is serious, but certainly not defeated.
Our backs against the wall. It ain't over till it's over.
This is what it's all about.
It's Game 5 of the best-of-7 Western Conference semifinal. The Los Angeles Lakers and the Utah Jazz in Game 2 of our TNT doubleheader. And a pleasant good evening, everyone, with Quinn Buckner. This is Kevin Harlan. The Utah Jazz leading this series 3-1. And Quinn, for the Los Angeles Lakers, looking right into the eyes of elimination.
Yeah, and they've got some problems going along with that. I think when you're trying to get yourself ready to play in the playoffs, everybody's got to be on the same page. It looked like the Lakers were that against Portland, but just take them here against the Jazz. They've had some circumstances that have been unusual. Nick Van Exel, very disappointed coming out with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. He was disappointed. He and Dale Harris got into it. Your point guard and your coach have got to be in sync. This is not a time to have this kind of dissension.
Speaking of in sync, Stockton and Malone have been in sync for the Utah Jazz for so many years, over a decade. But now it seems like a third dimension is beginning to develop on this team.
Well, Kevin, I think that's always important when you look at trying to get a team together. You've got to find other options. You've got your constants. They've got to be somebody else to step forward. In Game 1, the bench was strong with 33 points, 55%. And then Jeff Hornacek came alive in Game 2, shooting well from the foul line. And then finally, Brian Russell in Game 4 had his career day in the playoffs. 29 points and a career-tying 10 rebounds. If you're going for a Western Conference championship, you need at least 3 people to score. They have had it so far with the Jazz. They will need it this evening.
So whether you're a Laker or a Salt Laker, today is a big game. The Utah Jazz and the Los Angeles Lakers. We're back to the Delta Center right after these messages. Back at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah, with Quinn Buckner, Kevin Harlan. The third member of our broadcast team is Scott Hastings. Scott?
Kevin, thanks a lot. You know, the Lakers trailing 3-1, need to worry about double teams and how to handle the pick and roll between Stockton and Malone. But you saw that blow up between Van Exel and Harris. Now they got to worry about their point guard being upset. Today they had a closed door in the bus, actually, team members only meeting to discuss what they're going to do, how they're going to prepare for this game here tonight. Now, Quinn, as you know, 2 things happen in meetings like that. They either sit there and blame the coaching staff and with all their problems, or maybe they point fingers at each other. I think this first quarter will tell how that meeting came out. Guys?
The tip-off is next. Yep, you got to plug your ears inside the raucous Delta Center. Utah and the Lakers.
The NBA playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for a crisp, clean, classic taste. Budweiser, the king of beers. By Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Domino's Pizza. For hot and wow, call Domino's now. And by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
Utah hosting the Los Angeles Lakers. LA bigger than Utah at every position. In fact, Shaquille O'Neal has 20 pounds on Ostertag, flanked by Horry and Campbell. Van Exel and Jones in the Los Angeles backcourt. For the Utah Jazz tonight, combination of Stockton and Jeff Hornacek with Karl Malone, Greg Ostertag, and Brian Russell.
You know, and the guy that I think will have a good game and can really kind of vindicate himself is Van Exel. I expect to see him come out from the start to try to get his players to make sure that they're on his side. They feel for him. I'm sure that was part of that team meeting.
Hugh Evans, Derek Stafford, and Ron Garrettson, a good crew here tonight in Salt Lake City, Utah. For what could be a playoff victory for this Utah team that would send them, Quinn, to the Western Conference Finals for the 4th time in the last 6 years.
Yeah, I think there's a good opportunity for that, Kevin. But I'll tell you what, these are the kind of games that competitors like to play in, and I'm anxious to see how well the Los Angeles Lakers compete.
Neal was on Malone. Russell brought out Horry. Then Russell takes it right down. And he hits the first shot of the game.
I mean, that's a tough shot in traffic. He got started off so well in the first game. Watch him draw him on the ball fake. Now, he'll come in, get between Shaq and Eldon Campbell able to get it up. That's not the kind of foul you want to pick up, but just taking it to the basket, something I think the Jazz have done a little bit more of than have the Lakers.
The aforementioned third dimension.
Yeah, he's come a long way. He averaged about 3 points a game last year. This year he averaged 10 points, and he's been huge in the playoffs both last year and this year.
Campbell takes it in on Malone and tried to dunk, and Ostertag was there, and O'Neal was fouled as he got the offensive rebound inside for Los Angeles.
Hey, but I tell you what, Eldon Campbell takes it to the basket strong. I know Dale Harris has to be pleased with that.
They need him to do something good in the paint because this has been a nightmare of a playoff.
He has not been much of a factor. You talk about guys having other guys' mind. Shaquille O'Neal has stepped up, done what he needed to do. He needs some more help on the block. The guy that can do that with them, or for the Lakers, is Eldon Campbell.
O'Neal fans on the first free throw. The other day in Los Angeles, 10 of 15 from the free throw line. There you see the numbers through the playoffs.
Yeah, he's shooting it better in the playoffs than he has during the regular season. And I think he'll be better next year because I think his rhythm is better. I think he'll get into it a little bit more.
So here comes Utah once again. Hornacek picked up by Jones, doubled by Campbell. Gets it out to Stockton. He only has Van Exel on him, and the shot clock showing 6. Malone into Campbell, and fouled by Eldon Campbell, and Ori takes a tumble inside.
But it's a much more aggressive team for the Lakers. They're getting out-executed right now, as the Jazz do. But Malone is a guy in the... Take a look at Karl Malone. This is just a smart guy. He sees that the opening is there, and then he makes a quick cut.
Is that Shaq's decision to go out on the point guard, or should he always have that anchor in the paint?
Well, it depends on how your defense is set up. One, it looks like one of the things Dale Harris is doing is periodically he is sending a double team to the wing. And if they do that, then Shaq has to get some help from the backside. The help was Eldon Campbell. He just got there late.
Great recognition, too, by Stockton to find Malone as he saw the double team coming to him. 4-0 Utah. On the second Malone free throw. Campbell chases it. Lakers the other way. Less than a minute into the ball game here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Exel and John Stockton. There goes Ori working on Russell. O'Neal into Ostertag, and they didn't double him. They didn't have time to double him.
Well, they didn't double him because the pass wasn't to him. It was to Eldon Campbell, who Shaquille went and set a pick for, and Campbell just missed it. And Shaquille got it and made the basket.
Van Exel let Stockton shoot that time. 6-2 Utah.
Experience, recognition, Stockton, Hornacek, Malone, that's what they bring, and the Lakers need to get it.
Quickly double Van Exel once he entered the paint. Ori finds O'Neal. The quick double there. Out to Jones for 3.
Good patience by Shaquille. You don't have to make a quick move.
There goes Malone. Knocked away by Eddie Jones. What a great defensive play. And 20 seconds to shoot a clean block, and Utah inbound.
There was no foul call. Malone tried to get up, and Campbell may have pushed him. That looked like hand to me, but the official felt it was ball. So Karl gets enough foul shots. He'll get his share before the day's over.
Russell can't hit. Here comes Van Exel. 10-15 in the first quarter. Van Exel now spinning on Stockton. And all eyes are on Van Exel as he tried to get it inside to O'Neal and out of bounds off of Utah.
Jerry Sloan, taking a look at his team. All he wants to really do is make sure his guys come out and execute and compete. He did not feel they competed at all in Game 3, which they lost in Los Angeles.
O'Neal picked up by Malone. And they got him one-on-one. They don't double it. And then Malone knocks it away and draws the foul on Shaquille O'Neal. Number 1 on Karl.
Well, you see, Karl does a pretty good job keeping Shaquille from getting close to where he wants to go. Reaches in, and he thinks he gets all ball, but the official standing right there calls the foul.
2 minutes gone in the first quarter. Los Angeles has hit 2 of their first 3. Utah 2 of their first 4. Campbell rejected by Ostertag and knocked to Hornacek, and a foul on Eddie Jones.
Ostertag has had a great effect on the game for the Jazz, and he's one of the reasons that they seem to think they have a better chance to go all the way because of his ability down on the block. He comes from the weak side on that one. It may have been going down. Official lets it go. Good block by Ostertag.
Stockton to Malone. Back to Stockton. Utah leads at 6-5. Ostertag can't hit, but got the offensive rebound, and Shaquille cleans it up for Los Angeles.
Defined by Stockton. He was in trouble and found Ostertag, who just threw it up too hard.
Here comes Jones. Knocked away by Malone. Picked up by Russell. He'll go careening out of bounds with the ball. Los Angeles. And 15 seconds to shoot on the shot clock.
Well, the fans felt that Bryant Russell got pushed down as he was making that attempt to come up with the basketball. Officials are going to let him play. Players have to adjust.
Well, we had one game here early in this series where there were 52 fouls called. It really gave the pace of the game a very ragged look. Tonight's game, though, was flowed pretty good.
Kevin, it just depends on who's officiating. Guys, they change. Everything changed depending on the officials. The real question is, can you adjust to it?
Malone grabs the Van Exel miss from 3. Here comes Stockton. 3 minutes gone in the first quarter. Utah 33%. Campbell and Malone one-on-one. And even just a slight double. And that's all it took for Malone to wheel inside for 2 more.
They cut action. They get guys to cut around Malone to make the defense have to go somewhere. And then from there, Malone just does a good job.
Great feed by Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, it is. And it's the same kind of thing. If you've got action around Shaquille, I think it helps, just like it has around Karl Malone. And that's what the Lakers have come out and done more today.
Jazz by 1. They've led by 4. Hornacek works on Jones. Getting free was Malone. Rejected inside by Campbell. And here comes Los Angeles. It's Van Exel with the 3-on-3. Stockton got back, bumping into Van Exel and draws the foul.
They just gave a taunting technical to Nick Van Exel, and his effort to try to get by Stockton. Going around, Stockton tried to get there, and Van Exel said, "You can't guard me, boy," and he just got called for a technical.
What's your read on the Van Exel situation, of course, in a heated argument that you talked about to begin the broadcast tonight with the coach during the game?
It's uncalled for. If the coach makes a call, I don't care what it is, he makes it. You don't have to like it. There are a lot of things in life you don't like, but in this team environment, you deal with the game now because that's the most important. And if you don't like something the coach did, I'm not telling you not to be mad about it. I'm telling you don't put your team at jeopardy by you and the coach getting into it in the middle of a playoff game.
Well, there have been 17 technicals in this series, and it has been a very heated series. You know, we talked to Del Harris today about Van Exel, and he agreed that it's been very tough to control him, but he thinks that the team also needs to help him in controlling what has been a very volatile point guard this year.
Yeah. That's the best thing. If you've got a player on the team that can do that, the guy that eventually will do that, I'm sure, is Shaquille. But you've got to remember, Shaquille is younger than most of these guys, and those kind of aspects of leadership, he's still learning.
You got Jones outside. Russell's on him. Hornacek comes to get him when he enters the paint, and there's another foul, and it's on Utah and Jeff Hornacek.
I'll tell you one. Yeah, but the Lakers are much more aggressive going to the basket. Every one of the players that have had the ball for the Lakers have taken it to the basket because they know they need to get to the foul line, struggling to get offense.
So a little bit of a change here in Game 5.
Well, it's a change in attitude. It's the attitude that they had in the game they won, Game 3, taking the ball to the basket.
4 minutes gone here in the first quarter. 9-7. Utah leads by 2. O'Neal up high to the left of your screen. Shot clock down to 13 as Van Exel works on Stockton, then hits O'Neal, who bumps it back out to Ori for 3. Nice shot and a Laker lead of 1.
Yeah, nothing Hornacek can do. He's just not big enough to get out and contest the shot by Ori.
Lakers on top for the first time tonight after Utah led by 4 to start things out. Hornacek and Stockton. They'll shift the offense just a bit. No one down low, but everybody around that circle as Hornacek will try from the perimeter. Rebound Malone, plus 24.
And they'll run the shot clock down. And one of the reasons that the Jazz do it, because they're efficient, 1. But 2, it's just a great backdoor cut and a pass by Malone. But 2, it makes the team have to play more defense so you don't have to worry about what you do on the offensive end, on your defensive end, because the Jazz aren't good individually on defense.
Ori to O'Neal. And against Ostertag with his second block tonight. Here comes Stockton, 3-on-1 to Malone.
Great anticipation by Greg Ostertag to get to Shaquille as he was making his wheel back in.
Now doubled by Ostertag. Van Exel gets it around as they swing it to Jones. Picked up by Stockton over Ostertag, who altered the shot in a foul inside.
They call it on Shaquille O'Neal. Ostertag is having his effect. He blocked 1 by Eldon Campbell, but he does a great job anticipating Shaquille O'Neal and gets a hammer on that one. They like the way things can go when the big fella in the middle can play. Ostertag has had an effect, but you can't forget about Malone. He'll deliver.
What are you doing to the boards?
Throw elbow.
Guy's on a fast break.
Trip him.
What a guy looks at you.
Refer to his mother.
What's this? He's got it. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
No more. No more.
Wait, this isn't me. I gotta play with decency, honesty. I gotta play clean.
Nice shot.
I'm a victim of child abuse. My life has been ruined because someone abused me very badly. Every day I fight to survive the flashbacks and nightmares. The effects are devastating, and for me, it's lasted my whole life. I suffer because I can't trust anyone. I want to fight back. I want people to know it's wrong to abuse children.
Right here is where you want to take a look. You'll see a little contact made, but you'll see the wily veteran John Stockton catch Nick Van Exel, turn his head, push off a little bit, great pass, and it had to be a bounce pass to get under the arm of the defensive player, Nick Van Exel, but that's the kind of communication. Those are the kinds of things that happen somewhat instinctively as you look at the Malones. K. Malone there on your left with the Karl Malone's children.
Well, Karl Malone and Utah lead by 3. And Malone so far a pretty good start.
Yeah, Malone has come out well. 5 points and 4 rebounds right off the start. He wants to try to continue where he left off in his 42-point effort of Saturday.
Ostertag has 2 blocks. O'Neal has 2 fouls. And Shaq is out. Kersey is in. Knocked away by Jones. Right back to Hornacek. Shot clock at 5. What a fake. He's inside and fouled by Kersey.
Boy, I tell you what, if you see Shaq sitting on the bench with 2 fouls, they come with Jerome Kersey, and it's going to try to guard Ostertag with Jerome Kersey. That is a tough matchup. Even though Ostertag is not an offensive player, the Jazz will get the ball to him. They will try to cut around him and let him make some plays.
Jeff Hornacek, a couple games ago in this series, had an electrifying 16-point third quarter, which brought them back from a double-digit deficit to within 6. The Lakers went on to win that one in a game they had to win. Then over the weekend, it was all Utah. Malone was back to his old self, 42 points. That brings us to Game 5 tonight with the Lakers down 3 games to 1.
You saw a rarity just then when you see Hornacek miss 2 foul shots. He just rarely does that. About an 85-90% foul shooter.
That pass from the wing, a little bit high. Van Exel out of bounds. Utah the other way, halfway through the first quarter.
But that's just a little bit high, a little hard in terms of the speed. But they're trying to get Eldon Campbell some points. I think it's smart. You need it. Got to go right here. Kersey cannot handle Malone.
10 to shoot. They don't double team Karl as he's outside the lane and putting in his 7th point tonight.
Yeah, there are too many things he can do with Kersey. Kersey's not strong enough and he's not tall enough to handle Malone. And I was surprised Malone took a turnaround instead of taking him to the basket.
Utah's on a 6-0 run, their biggest lead of 5. 15 to 10. Here's Eddie Jones. Working on Russell. Doubled by Stockton. Out to Van Exel.
They'll try to let him take him off the dribble if you can.
Jones across the lane. Pretty move.
Yeah, but they need it. They need Jones. He's the 2nd leading scorer on the team during the regular season, 17 points. They need him to be active, looking to score.
Also fought about 3. Hit a ton of them the other day in Los Angeles. Here's Malone back to Stockton. Shot clock at 12. Stockton to Malone inside, and they blow it away. And a foul called on Eldon Campbell. Make it Kersey. He's got 2.
Yeah, he grabbed Karl Malone, but because for Kersey, he's not accustomed to playing somebody like Karl Malone in that position that quick. Kersey is normally a 3, if you will, small forward, playing the more savvy guy, more comfortable with his position, Karl Malone.
Karl Malone, very involved. We just saw his family moments ago. Very proud father, and his wonderful wife, Kay, as his first free throw goes in. And you can see what he and Russell have done to Campbell and Orr.
Well, that's why they're trying to get Eldon Campbell in the game. You see 16 points and 10 rebounds just does not get it compared to 71 points by the forward tandem of Malone and Russell, who had the outstanding game.
Howard Isley now is coming in the backcourt, taking the place of John Stockton. A very familiar substitution we see about halfway through every first quarter.
He's in primarily to put defensive pressure. You see he's up right away to try to put some pressure on Nick Van Exel.
So Isley and Van Exel, Ostertag and Campbell, Malone And Kersey, and look at that Exel swirl for two.
Nick's going to come and try to take him, and then that Karl just told him, keep him in front of him.
Isley again, who looks over at Coach Jerry Sloan for the call. Looking for Malone. Here's Russell. Hemmed in by Orange. Shot clock at 10. Oh, the Russell slash.
The smart thing he did on the sideline was keep his dribble. If you've got your dribble, you can make plays. Nick Van Exel keeps his dribble here. A bad job defensively, I thought, by Ostertag and Malone not to cut off. But right here, see, he keeps his dribble. No one steps in to help. Brian Russell takes the ball to the basket, looking to complete a three-point play.
Former second-round draft choice, Brian Russell. Kersey just picked up his third foul. Shaquille's on the bench with 2. And Travis Knight quickly gets off the bench. You see him at the top of your screen. He'll check in just a second with Isley picking up the foul on the elusive Nick Van Exel. Folks, reminder the playoffs continue tomorrow on TNT with another doubleheader with a special time at 7 o'clock Eastern. It's Game 5 of the Sonics and Rockets series. Then at 9:30, it's Game 5 of the Hawks and Bulls. And as always, that's followed by Inside the NBA with virtual Vince Cellini. Once again, it all gets underway at 7 o'clock. It's a new time, 7 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow, right here on TNT.
How about the big game Matt Maloney has? Wow. I mean, this young man makes 8 3-pointers. He makes a big one 35 seconds to go to lock it up for the Rockets. I mean, that's one of the great stories, I think, in sports. The things he's had to go through and how well he's pulled through, and he's been able to pull his Rocket teams with him.
That was an assistant coach of John Chaney, of course, at Temple, and he passed away at the beginning of this season when it should have been the happiest time for son and father. His dad passed away, and so Maloney has had to carry that burden with this team on his back a long way this season.
Yeah, the good part about it, been for the family, is they've had something else to put their mind to.
Knock away and a Utah turnover. That's the first of the game. Lakers have one as well. And here comes Van Exel working against the double team. Campbell back to Van Exel. They're going to Van Exel. There's our first illegal defense tonight.
Yeah, well, they're going to Van Exel because I think one of the things Dale Harris obviously realizes that he needs Van Exel in this series. So you go out and you try to help him get going so he does not become frustrated, because he is the best, most experienced point guard they have. But they actually been playing 18-year-old Kobe Bryant as backup point guard.
Out of bounds, and over from Los Angeles, their second turnover. You just saw New York's 89-76 win. Hasn't John Starks been an effective 6th man this year for New York?
He's perfect. For his temperament, it's the right place for him to be, because when he comes off, something's going to happen. It's not always guaranteed to be good, but he's going to play hard and he's going to be energetic. I think it's a great move for the Knicks.
They got a rookie on Malone. Jones looking out of the corner of his eye, but Malone with 7 on the shot clock snaps it back to Russell, who hits Isley for 3.
Makes it very hard on the team when you move it like that. Russell, big-time three-point scorer, finding Isley, showing you some of his offensive skills from the three-point line.
Utah has their biggest lead tonight, 23-16. Campbell up high by Russell. Rory with it, working on Isley. So some mismatches now defensively as Isley is back on Van Exel and finds Jones.
Penetration, and they've got to get more of it.
You called it early. Goes down, but gets right back up. Russell. Into Malone. There's a foul. Travis Knight.
Karl Malone is wearing the front line of the Los Angeles Lakers out. He established positions that nothing they can do but try to come over his shoulder. That's why he's the MVP candidate this year.
Utah is led by 7. Karl Malone has played well so far. Let's send it over to Scott Hastings.
Thanks, Kevin. A guy the Lakers may not be able to use tonight, Byron Scott, who injured his wrist in Game 3. He's been taking a lot of treatment. In fact, he has a unit called the Fariso unit that he has electrodes actually taped to his wrist as the game is going on. It actually pushes medication into the wrist. It'll block pain, control swelling, helps some circulation. His range of motion is limited going up and down, but what he cannot do is actually invert that wrist at all. So how much he's going to be able to play, I talked to him earlier today. He said, hey, I can do it on the defensive end, but I'm not going to be much help on the offensive end.
Well, Quinn and I tried that out this afternoon. They attached it to our heads.
Invert and all of that. Basically, being able to invert the hand means being able to get it where you can cock your wrist so you can shoot the basketball. But I think, and maybe even a bigger part of that Byron probably didn't speak to, it's hard to snap your wrist forward in a natural shooting motion because it is in pain. And this afternoon, when I was to see him, Byron, in shaking hands, he shook left-handed, which tells you how much he does not want to have that thing be hurt.
He was great here on game 3. As Malone, you can see what he has done this series off a 42-point game on the weekend win at Los Angeles. He has 10 already tonight.
You know what I admired about the conversation with Karl Malone? Great players will take responsibility. And Karl Malone said flat out, I stunk. And I asked him, I said, were you embarrassed by your play or your team? He said, I don't worry about my team. I'm embarrassed about how I played. That's why I wanted to come back and have a good showing.
Van Exel heads with a nice spinner, and he's got 6. O'Neal still on the bench for the last 4 minutes with 2 fouls.
Well, Van Exel is a guy that can carry him offensively for a while Shaquille is out of the game.
Isley into Van Exel to Ostertag. Look out inside as he tried to ramble, and it's picked up by Campbell.
He tried to do an up and under. You're right, look out inside, because you don't know how he's coming down.
It's like driving ahead a steer through town or something. Here comes Jones by Hornacek, knocked away by Ostertag.
And that's what Hornacek is banking on, that Ostertag can get there and help him, because defensively he's not quick enough to stay with Eddie Jones.
Isley, what a pass to Malone!
Fundamental. Take it to the basket, make somebody else commit after you beat your man, and give it to the man that's open.
1:50 to play in the first quarter. LA has shot 57%, yet they trail by 7. Campbell, one-on-one with Ostertag. Knocked away again.
Oh, big fella controlling it.
He's got 4 block shots, 6 for the Jazz in the game. Isley, Hornacek left free.
Well, that's a shot he normally makes. Leaving him open, you just don't want to do.
They have to play as Van Exel goes the other way. 6 points. And a lot on his mind. For 3, he's got 9.
And he's got the intent to try to prove people wrong. And that's the one thing about it. He's competitive. He will compete. And he just was too competitive about the circumstance of which he got taken out of the game.
Exel and Isley. Hornacek whacked inside by Travis Knight. He had an elbow into the jaw of Hornacek that racked his head backwards, and he has his 2nd foul.
Team play is always important in a team sport. Here is an example of team play. You go, you draw the man, now you throw the ball to where the man comes to help from, and then you see the pick coming across, trying to make sure there's some aggressive play on the part of the Lakers. The Jazz, Hornacek gets hit in the chin by the rookie Travis Knight. Now Travis Knight is trying to learn how to play in playoff basketball. If you have not played before, you don't really know how to be aggressive. That was an overly aggressive play, but it is, you know what? It is the right idea, because a big man shouldn't ever want a guard to pick him. Never let a guard pick you.
Kobe Bryant in the game, the 18-year-old rookie out of high school in Philadelphia. But that's only something experience can teach us.
Yeah, and well, it can only teach all of the Lakers. The Lakers as a team are pretty young with playoff experience.
We saw an 18-year-old kid out there.
Yeah, but this 18-year-old kid can play. I agree with you. He needs the experience, but this one can play.
A minute to play here in the first quarter from Salt Lake. Doubled is Van Exel. So a little switch now defensively for the Jazz. Bryant into Hornacek. And Hornacek may have tapped that ball. Ostertag cleans it up. Isley the other way.
Well, Hornacek was knowing against Bryant. Bryant should get the shot up. You don't have to worry about that. Tough shot.
So will Isley.
That's a bad shot.
Rebound by Eldon Campbell, his 2nd rebound. O'Neal still on the bench, and he's been that way since 6.5 remained in this first quarter with 2 fouls. Van Exel on the fly. Ostertag with another. Ostertag has been huge. O'Neal, or rather Malone down court, and knocked away by Bryant. And a foul called inside on Los Angeles.
And good job by Karl Malone getting it going on that end. But here's what you got to take a look at. Here's a smart play. Watch Ostertag almost goaltend this and stop. That is a smart play by a shot blocker. He realized had he blocked it, that he would have caused the Lakers to get a basket, and because he didn't do that, they were able to get the rebound where the Jazz and throw it down. Malone missed the easy shot, but got fouled the second time.
I had O'Neal on the brain. I'm still interested in how this team has responded during these playoffs. With Shaq in foul trouble, and Quinn, every game that you and I have done on this series has seen O'Neal in foul trouble.
Well, on the overall, not very well. They're down 3-1. They have played decent in spurts, but it's hard to maintain a rhythm when you got Shaq coming in and out. You like to keep him on the floor because he commands an double team. But he's been doing an outstanding job. His problem has been against Ostertag. Ostertag didn't have any points, 3 rebounds, 4 blocks, and has probably been the most definitive player on the Jazz team because of his block shots.
Final seconds ticking away here in the first quarter as Utah has their biggest lead, and a foul on Exel. A hand check on Van Exel. That's the second on Howard Exel.
At that point, you got to almost back up. Your shot clock is, game clock is at 2.8. You need to get back away from it.
So the Lakers have played half of the first quarter without Shaquille O'Neal. They have had to go to Nick Van Exel, who comes in amidst some controversy. He now has 10 points in the contest, and O'Neal will start the second quarter. But again, this team has had to limp along without their anchor in the middle,
which I've got to say is obviously really tough for them, because Shaquille can't get any help when he's on the floor. But we got guys playing well now.
Good if it went. And Karl Malone was the man who stepped front and center. He's got 15 points, 5 rebounds, and he brings his Jazz to a 6-point lead at the end of one. Lakers had just one 1-point lead in that first quarter. Utah's lead climbed as high as 8. And they were led in that first quarter with some unbelievable plays by Greg Ostertag. With O'Neal out, Ostertag thriving, and you can see where he ranks among playoff participants. He had 4 blocks in the first quarter alone.
Well, he was active, anticipating where to get, trying to get the crowd involved. I thought he did a good job with those 4 blocks. But I think you've got to have some solid defensive play inside, and he came to the play defensively for the Jazz.
Well, Byron Scott played with all those guys, won a championship or 2, but no longer is there a Magic and a Worthy and a Kareem. Now it's Shaquille, Van Exel, and Eddie Jones.
They beat us in Boston in 1985. We beat them in '84. They beat us the next year in Boston in 6 games. I was not a happy camper.
So we start the second quarter with Van Exel throwing to Rooks, out there with O'Neal and Bryant and Jones, and Sean Rooks, who comes from Atlanta during the offseason, with a nice move in 2.
Now, what's generally been the case, we'll see if it happens. The team that's won the first quarter has won every game.
Stockton. Greg Foster comes in.
That's the move. Put it on the floor.
So he goes right into O'Neal with nothing doing, and here comes Rooks with the rebound, and the Lakers the other way.
He's fine until he took the fadeaway.
Yeah.
You're going to take him to the basket, take him, and make him have to do something.
O'Neal and Foster. Doubled by Russell. Out to Bryant. Left 3.
He normally makes that one. Wide open jump set like that. He makes those, and he can make them with range.
Here comes Stockton, whose head swivels as he surveys and takes into the defense of Van Exel and finds Malone. Working on Rooks. Karl Malone.
Hard head in hand. He came to do work.
He's got 17. He's picking up where he left off over the weekend in Los Angeles. Bryant and Russell. And Russell quickly doubling O'Neal, who can't get that to go inside.
O'Neal felt he got some contact, and I think he may have gotten it, and he just died on the play instead of staying aggressive.
Stockton, after the bump, got the bumper he needed for 2. He's got 6, and Utah leads by 8, equaling the biggest lead. Van Exel by Stockton.
You almost have to get to a point now with Van Exel. You're playing for the jump shot because he's made his point. He's going to go to the basket, make him shoot over the top now.
Shandon Anderson, the rookie, with the ball, working on Jones. Into Malone, and the Lakers got caught up in a double team, and Malone was left free. Out of bounds it is, and a foul called on Greg Foster. So O'Neal is back in, but Utah leads by 6 again. Malone with 17. It's 35-29, the Jazz. Utah has led by as many as 8, now up by 6. We're in the second quarter. Harlem basketball stars caught between two possible futures. One is a college basketball star, and one is a casualty of the mean streets. Sawyer with Dwayne Martin and Tupac Shakur, and above the rim Wednesday night after Inside the NBA, right here on TNT, as we go to Scott Hastings.
Perfect time above the rim to Scott Hastings. No correlation. Spent some time in both of these teams' huddles. The Utah Jazz very upset with their defense over rotation and allowing the Lakers to penetrate. For the Lakers, pound it into Shaq, pound it into Shaq, pound it into Shaq. That's what Del Harris said.
And they pound it into Shaq, who gets it back outside to Bryant, who finds Jones running into a thicket of Utah defenders, and a foul called on Chris Morris, who's in the game for the first time.
Yeah, they go with a lot of variety of people to come into the positions and play. And this is when Utah, I think, gets great production out of their bench. They come with Chris Morris, who's a guy that you bring off the bench. You don't know what's going to happen. He's a lightning rod kind of guy. Can bring you a lot of good. Sometimes you come up empty with him. And they get him on the floor. They get Antoine to get some scoring on the floor. And Shandon Anderson, the young player, Willie Anderson's brother, who plays at Miami, Shandon Anderson from Georgia, is the guy they like the most because he just comes and plays without regard to the score.
Utah led by 8. Now their lead is down to 4 with 9.5 to play in the half.
Well, like I said to you, boy, Eddie Jones just called for a foul. I said to you at the break, the Jazz haven't run away from the Lakers, which is a good sign, I think, for Del Harris and his club, that they came and played with some spirit.
Two fouls on Eddie Jones.
I'd have to go at him. I'd have to go at Eddie Jones.
That's what they do. Into Anderson. Van Exel got a hand on it. Out of bounds off Los Angeles. Shot clock at 17.
Because he and Van Exel are causing the problems from the outside. If you can get a foul on him, then Dale has no choice but to get him out. And the problem is Byron Scott is the one with the bad wrist, and that's generally who comes in.
Stockton's got 6 points. Utah shooting 45% as a team. LA 50%. Carr, the fake, and the shove on Los Angeles, and a foul.
No, Sean Rooks, he pushed him in the back. He had both hands on Carr in the back. But it was a nice slide into the middle that catches him. Well, it's the slide into the middle that makes the play. The defense is moving, and you can see Sean Rooks is caught off guard. He had both hands in the back. You can put a forearm in the back with a hand, or vice versa, but you can't put two of the same things, if you will, back there. You can't put two forearms nor two hands.
Stockton to Antoine Carr.
And Stockton turning the corner, collapses the defense for the big dog who they're barking for, roofing for.
Stockton with 3 assists. Van Exel and Stockton. O'Neal in the circle now goes inside. They try to push him outside his comfort zone, and they quickly double him. Outside to Jones again. He'll slash and find nothing. Just the rim. Picked up by Van Exel in the first 24. A 3 by Nick Van Exel. His first one in, his second misses.
Don't put it down. That's a mistake.
3 on 3. Shandon Anderson.
They call this on Nick Van Exel because Anderson goes, well, it looked like actually Kobe Bryant was in position to take the charge, but they call a foul on Nick Van Exel as Shandon Anderson was taking the ball to the basket hard.
They actually reversed it, and they put it now on Kobe Bryant with his second.
Well, watch, because he pushes out. He really was trying to protect himself. They call it on Kobe. He was trying to protect himself on that fast break situation, and you're not allowed to get your arms out in front of you. But Anderson got up so high, I think, before Kobe Bryant could realize it, he had his arms up, and he pushed the legs of Anderson. That's why he gets called for the foul.
Anderson, a different player than his brother Willie.
He's a much more aggressive guy. Willie is a little bit more of a passive, if you will, wing player. Shandon, as you saw taking the ball to the basket, is very, very aggressive, and the Jazz are real pleased with his play.
Back to an 8-point Utah lead. This equals their biggest lead tonight. 8:22 to play in the first half. Van Exel with the ball. He's got 13. O'Neal with a couple fouls. Works on Foster, who just goes inside with a club. And draws it down.
Club?
My goodness.
Now, what you can't do is you can't let Shaq get the motion to the basket. If you take a look at the Knicks also taking a 3-1 lead against Miami. Miami having one difficult time generating any offense against that New York defense. And New York, I think, has done a good job offensively.
Isn't it amazing? One of the best records in the NBA, and Miami 61 wins, yet they get in this. They struggle against an upbeat Orlando team, and then they struggle against the New York Knicks.
Well, they struggle against a team in the Knicks who has a lot of offense.
O'Neal comes up. with now his second basket tonight. He's got 4. Lakers to within 6.
And the Knicks also have more playoff experience than do the Miami.
Absolutely. Here comes Stockton.
Offensive foul on Anderson.
Trying to maneuver inside.
He was trying to get in to set a pick, and his man that he was going to pick for was moving, and then Anderson moved, so that's why they called it on him.
Under 8 to play in the first half. 39-33. Utah's on top. Lakers shooting 48%. Utah 48% from the floor. Doubled by Foster. Leaves Shaq inside the car. There's a foul. It's on Greg Foster. He's got 3.
Yeah, they're going to have to get him out of the game. He's a guy that didn't give them a lot of good play, but making shots. But Van Exel created that foul by turning the corner, making Foster have to make a decision, which you have to do with big people. Make them make a decision, make them move their feet.
Well, they give Ostertag a breather, but he's back in with his 3 rebounds and 4 blocked shots in the first quarter. Let's look at the foul situation at 52 in game 2 called in. Jones to Campbell, who has still been very silent and continues that way. Morris the rebound. 3 on 3. They got Cars the trailer. Look out inside for the big dog as he bullies his way inside and draws the charge.
Yeah, and Big Van Exel did a good job of recognition because the trailer in the play is Antoine Carr. You can see Campbell take the ball. I mean, and nobody fouled him. He just wanted to dunk it and just had a very bad finish.
Great pass from the perimeter. Jones to O'Neal and a foul inside.
On the floor.
On Carr.
Yeah, they call it on the floor.
O'Neal at the stripe.
For the penalty, but they had the right idea. You want to get him on the floor if you can, because you don't want him to start with his arms up. Because once he does that, he is so big and strong, you cannot stop him.
O'Neal now from the free throw line. He is 0 for 3. He was 10 of 15 in Los Angeles in game 3.
I've seen him have slow starts from there before, and then he kind of does a little better in the second half because his rhythm does not look nearly as fluid as it has.
7-11 in the second. 39-34. Utah by 5. Led by 8. Lakers have had 1-point lead. There's a pickoff. Eddie Jones, a foot race with Ostertag, and here comes Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones, one of the top steal guys in all of basketball, about 4th in the league.
Good defender.
He's a solid defender. I mean, but this is the Eddie Jones that the Lakers have been waiting on.
And that they need.
Yeah, they've got to have him. They need him to be aggressive on both sides of the ball.
And it's a 3-point game with 6:45 in the first half. Stockton around the Ostertag screen, and then left 3.
No, he created the space. When in this game, you have to be able to create space. Stockton did a step toward the basket, and doing so, he backed up Shaquille O'Neal.
Here comes O'Neal into Malone. Shaq can't hit that one. Rebound Campbell into Ostertag and over. He still comes on back.
Goodness.
Malone to Stockton.
Well, they got him playing aggressively.
Stockton to Anderson with the nice fake and into Malone in the 3-second violation.
Yeah, he's got to shoot that. Chandler's got to shoot that ball if you're that close. And that's why Karl Malone threw the ball in the air, because that was a mistake you don't make. You've got to play some solid defense, anticipate where the ball may be. Eddie Jones does. Gets a hand on it, gets a chance to outrun the defense, pushes it up quickly. They need him in the game. This is a chance to advance. You got to be strong in the playoffs.
That's about all the dancing you've seen so far. It's been more like a football game on the floor as Utah leads by 5.
It's been the kind of game you want. You want it aggressive. You want the players to decide the game. The officials are doing that. They're letting the guys go attack the ball. You don't want it any other way. Hey, championships aren't given away. This is not something you get on a holiday.
To Scott Hastings.
Thanks, Kevin. You talk about physical play. What you don't want to do is you don't want to get dirty, and you don't want to make Shaq mad. I remember something that Willis Reed told me. We asked him how you play 2 of the other great L.A. Lakers centers, Kareem and Chamberlain. He said, whatever I did with Chamberlain, I said, thank you, sir. No, sir. He said, you never made Chamberlain mad. Jabbar, I got him out all the time because he couldn't play that way. Shaq plays better when he's mad.
Double him, and it's out to Ori, swinging it out to Jones, inside to Campbell, over Ostertag, tapped in by O'Neal.
Because Ostertag had to come and try to help Brian Russell, who was guarding Eldon Campbell, and Shaquille just followed him and put the ball in the basket.
3-point game, Lakers down, but they've only had one lead in the game of a point. Stockton knocked it away. Van Exel. He slithers by defenders and can't find anything but the rim.
He tried to do a little bit too much that time. Nobody's got Brian Russell.
He'll take the three.
Nobody had him. He came down wide open, and he came to the ball side to get to John Stockton an angle. And that's a smart play, to come give yourself an angle to receive the pass.
Russell with 9. And he doubles Shaquille. Back it goes in again. That rhythm, that in-out game that the Lakers so badly want to establish. Rebound by Ostertag.
And they haven't done a good job of it, but you saw the kind of results. Shaquille had what he needed.
Hit by Van Exel. Eldon Campbell 1 of 7 so far, but O'Neal cleaned up nicely.
You see, Russell is guarding, and Ostertag comes over, and then no one blocked out Shaquille O'Neal, who's there able to put it down because no one blocked him out. Ostertag came to help Russell.
Not a lot of Shaq slams in this series.
There's not anyone able to penetrate the defense of the Jazz because their team defense is good. Not individual defense, but they help one another so well.
Good point. Here comes Hornacek, and he's double teamed by Jones and Van Exel. And a foul, number 3 on Jones.
Boy, that puts Kobe Bryant as a guy that's got to play a lot of minutes. And he's a young man, and you want him to get him some playoff experience, but this is a tough way to be put in. But he had 19. He had 19 in game 3.
And this is game 5 with the Utah Jazz on top. 3 games to 1.
It was in game 2 that he had that number, but he had 17 in the second half. Kobe Bryant believes he belongs on the floor, which is half the battle when you play professional. You've got to believe you belong there.
Stockton, 3 on him, then he goes outside where Ori intercepts, and the Lakers come back as Utah has turned it over 7 times to LA's 3.
The easy pass was to Karl Malone. He was wide open, and for whatever reason, John decided to go the other way as Dale Harris takes a 20-second timeout.
With 4:02 to play here in the first half. The first half, which has seen Utah lead by 8. And to win, they get their 4th Western Conference final in the last 6 years. But the Lakers may have something to say about that. And in the Western Conference, you see 2 series with 3 games to 1 on the board.
How about Houston? Go to Seattle and take both of them.
That's big.
That's not something I thought they'd be able to do. But what they have, when they have 3 guys that you have to double team, I'm telling you, it makes a big difference if you've got shooters. Mario Ellie can shoot it from out there. They get Matt Maloney shooting the ball out there. They do a solid job.
Not a lot of teams have come back to win, down 3 games to 1, but it has been done, including by these Lakers back in '70. Most recently by Houston.
They won almost every series they won. They were on the road when they won that championship.
Derek Fisher is in the game, the rookie from Arkansas Little Rock. To O'Neal.
Good play.
And they got the in and out they want, but again, he can't get it. And Ostertag is having a field day knocking away Lakers shots. Hornacek to Russell for 3. Tapped out
by Malone. Good tap out by Malone, and they need to settle it down, and that's what your guard has to do. Your point guard needs to be even keel. He should not be emotional because he's got to set the tempo for your team, and you want your team to always be poised.
Shot clock 6.
I mean, I saw him set him up. Derek Fisher is not paying attention on the bench because it's the exact same move they put on Nick Van Exel, and Fisher got caught by it.
3:10 in the first half. Jazz again by 8. Fisher, O'Neal doubled. Hornacek took a whack, and O'Neal fights for 2.
Well, O'Neal just strong-armed that.
Which is what you think he's got to do.
I think he's got to play very aggressively. He kind of got a repost here, and he takes it, goes through a little elbow action. I'm not sure that was real. Does a good job of clearing out the second time Ostertag as he reached for the ball. The Shaq Daddy seems to be mad.
3-point play by O'Neal. He's got 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 fouls. His He's gone without a foul in the second quarter after sitting out half of the first once he got his second.
One of the reasons he's been able to get to play without it is he started out on on Karl Malone. And they've changed Malone and Eldon Campbell. They put Campbell back on Malone and put Shaquille on Ostertag to save him from picking up his third foul.
Timeout taken by Los Angeles. 46-41 the Jazz just before the half.
The NBA playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. And by the new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge.
The Lakers need to do one thing. It's called repost. Get the ball in here. The double team comes. Now, kick it out because everybody has to leave. Now, get better position as Shaq does here. And then he has to gather himself to make the shot. He gets away over the back. The Jazz come out with it. But that's conceptually what they have to do. Repost Shaquille, because what happens is the defender gives ground after the first pass out, which means he can take that place up. And then you have a chance to reestablish yourself. You see Shaquille has 27 touches, 10 points. He needs to get as many touches as he gets. I think he needs anywhere from almost 50. Because I think you have to run the offense going. But one of the things he's gotten better as the series is going along is where to pass the ball out of the double team. He needs to get like Karl Malone does, where he passes it to a score, and then he'll be a very effective low-post player.
Malone missing the first free throw. Coming up in the Nike halftime report, Ernie Johnson is joined by one of the real true gentlemen in this basketball business, former Trailblazer coach P.J. Carlesimo. Have highlights of the Knicks Heat game and take a look at the first half here. That's coming up in the Nike halftime report. From our TNT studios, Malone with 17. The majority of which came in the first quarter. A little bit quiet here in the second. Jazz by 5, 2:45 to play.
And I'm impressed with the Lakers. They've stayed in with their game plan and have stayed aggressive, and it's the reason that they find themselves in this position.
Campbell's been quiet, 1 of 7. Oh, there goes O'Neal!
And it was the same kind of play. Ostertag came and helped out. Shaquille gets it on the weak side. They just called delay a game for the Lakers.
Let's remember now later on, 2.5 to play in the half. It's a 3-point ball game. O'Neal with 12 points and 8 rebounds. Russell left free for 3. Malone to Hornacek.
Well, they got Shaquille guarding Karl Malone. This is one you try to take advantage of, because Shaquille, you can always run a pick and roll with.
Hornacek just wait. Bryant will chase Hornacek. Malone will bring out O'Neal. And a rebound by Ostertag, who's been huge on the glass and blocking shots with his 5 rebounds and 5 blocked shots in the first half. Hornacek.
You gamble for it, you got to get it on Hornacek. On a play where you go for the steal, you have to get the ball because you leave him without someone in his face. He's a very good standstill shooter.
1:35 to play in the first half. O'Neal, there's that repost you're talking about, but this time Bryant takes a 3 and a rebound by Malone.
That was a little too quick. Bryant has to come back in with it.
Stockton into Van Exel had a great first quarter. He's got 13 for the game. Malone draws the double.
Triple team. He had a triple team. Campbell, Ori, and O'Neal were there.
Hornacek. They'll try the triple. O'Neal got a hand on it, taps it to Van Exel. Ball is deflected, picked up by Bryant, goes behind his back and keeps it alive for Los Angeles with 60 seconds in the first half.
Did a good job, did Bryant, by getting lower than Russell and able to come up with that, because Russell had a bead on it, but if you get low and get it before it comes up, as Bryant did, you can come up with the ball.
Van Exel, just the single coverage on Stockton is down. Ostertag comes up and fills the void. And a 24-second violation. Great Utah defense and frustration on that base of Del Harris.
Because Nick got stubborn on that. Nick Van Exel got stubborn. He was trying to take Stockton because he's had such success, and it just took too much time and then just lost track of the time. Stockton to Malone.
It's been a pretty successful combination. In fact, so successful that beginning next year, they're going to start a car dealership here in the Utah Salt Lake City area, and it's going to be called Stockton to Malone. All right, the playoffs tomorrow on TNT. A great doubleheader and a special time, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Game 5, the Sonics and Rockets. 9:30, Game 5, Hawks and Bulls. And as always, followed by Inside the NBA with virtual Vince Cellini. Once again, all getting underway. 7 o'clock, a special time tomorrow. 7 o'clock Eastern time right here on TNT. It's Karl Malone has 18 for the game.
Well, while I know those that were considering the death of the Bulls after they lost that second game to the Hawks, you might have spoke up a little early. I expect the Hawks to come and compete. I mean, they will come and play hard defensively. They are a tough team to play against, but the Bulls seemingly getting back in rhythm. Jason Caffey doing a good job for Rodman, who's had a difficult time staying in games.
They will need Rodman down the stretch somewhere along the line. Bryant to O'Neal, and he's had more dunks in this game tonight than he might have total the entire first 4 games of this series.
Yeah, he didn't have anywhere close to, I thought, 10 in the entire 4-game series prior. But you get dribble penetration, somebody comes to help. He doesn't have to score against a double team. It makes a big difference. Oh, the split just makes a big difference.
Russell for 3 with 4/10 of a second remaining. And that sends Utah to the locker room leading by 8. That can have a devastating effect on O'Neal and the Lakers.
Vintage kind of offense. The centers had a great game, but if you're able to get you a big basket, 3-point going in at halftime, that's big for you. Gives you some momentum going in at the halftime.
Utah leads at 53-45. The Nike halftime on deck, so stay tuned on TNT. Salt Lake City, Utah. Game 5 on TNT, second game of our doubleheader tonight. We're at the half, and the Utah Jazz on top, 53-45. With Quinn Buckner, this is Kevin Harlan. Utah led most of that first half. Lakers had one lead in the first quarter of 1, 10-9. But aside from that, Shaquille had foul trouble, set out half of the first quarter. Then Exel showed his spurt, then he disappeared in the second. What's your read on the first half?
The problem that the Lakers have, they can't get everybody in sync together. That's what you clearly see. The Jazz have some continuity. You'll see them come and go to their pick and roll, get pops. So it's a sense of purpose that you see with the Jazz. You see some effort, but I'm not sure all of that effort is translating into great things in terms of what the Lakers are. But I must give them credit. They're playing with a great deal more energy than I thought they might, given the game they played on Saturday.
Up front, big story there.
Yeah, well, Campbell and Horry are just struggling, and most notably Campbell. He's had opportunities and just missed them, and you see Karl Malone leading the way there with 19 points. But of the two, you got to say that Bryant and Russell, the fact that he's been active, 4 of 7, 2 for 4 from the foul line, from the 3-point line. They're getting what they want, but so is Shaquille O'Neal. He has been able to get some easy baskets, some dunks, something he hadn't been able to get heretofore because he hadn't been in position. I think he's made a conscious effort to position himself better for his teammates to get him the ball, and I think Shaquille has done a better job recognizing when Ostertag, who has 6 blocks in the first half, leaves, there's an opportunity to position himself to get the putbacks, and that's why his production has been so good here in the first half.
And let's check in with Scott Hastings.
Kevin spoke with both coaching staffs. Utah wants to push the ball, run, but if you don't have anything, pull it back out, use the 24-second clock. Every possession must be a good shot. For the Los Angeles Lakers, they want to keep Karl Malone off the free throw line. He shot more free throws himself than the entire Laker team. He says, we got to get Shaq, just like Clint said, more involved.
Karl Malone and the Utah Jazz, 24 minutes from going to the Western Conference Final. For Shaquille O'Neal, they're trying to bypass that and force a 6th game, get out of elimination. Here we go, beginning the second half. Robert Horry working on Russell. Illegal defense called on Utah. In the second.
Well, they call it on the Hornacek. And what happened was when Robert Horry raised the pass, instead of passing it, he just raised it over his head. And Hornacek needed to make a decision. First and a half.
Second of the game.
Yeah, then that's what the officials were dealing with. It's second. And the only thing that is important is that it's second in the game. But there was some question between one of the officials whether or not indeed that was the case. One's got one finger, the other one's got the other.
Unlike game 2, when we saw, 5 in like the first 10 minutes of the game.
Most of them were the Lakers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The Jazz are going to double team when they try to pass the ball to Shaquille.
Robert Horry working on the perimeter. Dumps it into Shaquille with a nice spin move. Sixth rebound.
They call that the tornado move, if you will. When Shaq gets down there and starts to turn it, his problem is he's got to get balance. If he gets his balance back, he can make the shot.
Good fake by Hornacek, getting by Jones. Got him in the air. Rebound by Van Exel.
Yeah, but Van Exel will push it up. See, the Lakers, the Jazz want the Lakers to run because when it's all said and done, the Jazz do a better job of reorganizing themselves if they don't make a basket.
Hornacek draws the foul as O'Neal made the offensive rebound. He's got 2.
You can see the attempt. There was not even a try by Shaquille to go to the basket, but he got fouled by Hornacek anyway because he was so close.
Are you seeing the emotion? Are you seeing a desperate team in the Lakers tonight facing elimination?
I'm seeing a team playing with the right kind of energy because you can play with mostly you need to play with urgency. They're playing with a good sense of urgency, I think.
Campbell doubled. Stockton got a hand on it. Stockton draws the foul. This second. You pointed all night long that when the Lakers were operating inside the blocks, inside the lanes, good things were happening. Looks like they've tried the same thing to begin the second half.
That's the way they've got to get back in the game because that's the chance to get a foul, get someone to the foul line.
Campbell hits, and there you see a doubleheader on TNT. Special time, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Game 5, Sonics and Rockets. Game 5 at 9:30, the Hawks and Bulls from Chicago. Inside the NBA follows those games with virtual Vince Cellini. And again, the special time, 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. Just minutes into this second half. Malone, Russell, shot clock down to 12. Lakers now within a 5-point reach. Russell off balance. What a shot by Russell.
What a tough shot, because I'm telling you, Robert Horry can't play him any better. And you just stay between your man and the basket and you let him take shots over you. That's all you can ask of any defender.
Eddie Jones, and then Stockton picks up Van Exel. Shot clock at 9. O'Neal triple team into Russell, plowing into Ostertag.
He picked up the foul.
And that is the third on Shaquille O'Neal, and it comes with 10:15 in the third.
Brian Russell got the offensive call against him, but look at this shot. I mean, he's falling away, looking Jordan-like on that play, and that's all you can do is look Jordan-like.
Be like Mike. Here comes Hornacek.
Get in line if he wants to be like Mike.
Karl Malone from 23. Wow, what a shot by Malone. He's got 21.
That was a determined Karl Malone there.
9-point Utah lead, their biggest tonight, and that forces Del Harris to take a timeout. So Shaquille O'Neal with 3 fouls. Malone is on fire with 21. And Utah's got their biggest lead.
The NBA playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. By Dutch Boy Paints. Give your home the lasting look of Dutch Boy. And by Fila. Change the game.
Kid, you got the talent, but you got a problem. You're too nice. I'm gonna make you bad.
Okay, Mr. Lambert.
Get out of my face. Good, very good.
Utah's got their biggest lead. It's early in the second half.
Yeah, it's early in the second half. Shaquille has 3. I think you can play with that. But I think if you're Karl Malone and the Jazz, Jerry Sloan will tell them, look, we've won the first half. All we have to do is win every quarter here on out. So let's concentrate and try to win this third quarter.
Robert Horry fights through his screen, gets the pass from Van Exel, knocked away by Russell. Shot clock at 10 with 9.5 to play in the third.
Robert Horry has to do a little better job drawing the defense to him. That's one of those times he really didn't see his defensive man. He'd look straight through Brian Russell looking at Shaquille.
Horry, by the way, just 3 points tonight. Here's O'Neal. Kicks it back to Van Exel for three, and it's a big one by Nick Van Exel. That's his second three-point shot tonight. He's got 17.
Yeah, Nick brought his game today. He has his game face on, trying to do everything he can offensively and just trying to stay in front of the Stockton defensively.
6-point game, 9:20 in the third. Hornacek maneuvering on Ori after shedding Joe. Oh! Spectacular shot.
This is a great shot. This is with one arm. He is being held by Robert Horry, and he knew it all along. And just watch. He goes back. Watch his left arm. It's held. It's held behind his back. I could beat you with my hand behind my back. What a great shot.
That was a beauty. 8-point game. And Hornacek completes the three-point play and has 8 for the contest.
What a great shot. I mean, the ability just to stay under control. And that's the difference between the two teams. Even in dire circumstances, don't panic.
Van Exel tries to do it himself. Off the Jazz, 13 to shoot.
Karl Malone comes over and looked at Hugh Evans. He tried to steal one, trying to say that the ball just got thrown out of bounds, but the Jazz hit it on the way out.
Jones triple-teamed O'Neal, double-teamed Campbell. Goes to take out a hand on it. Here come the Jazz on the run, but LA gets back well on defense.
Yeah, but I thought Campbell got fouled on that, and so did he, so he tried to...
Whoa! O'Neal just clotheslines Malone.
That's a flagrant foul. And Karl Malone is letting him know that foul wasn't warranted. But that may be what the Lakers need, and they just called a technical on Karl Malone.
No, Ori.
The officials got to get control of this one. Did they just throw Ori out? They just threw Ori out of the game.
And Malone better watch out. And Robert Ori is gone.
What a bad sequence of events for the Lakers, because part of it was relatively decent. If Shaquille didn't want to hurt Karl Malone, you need some aggressive play from the Lakers. They have not really had that. But then to get it carried further than that didn't make any sense. And Ori pushed Hornacek in the face, and the officials saw it, and they tossed him on the spot, so you get a flagrant to go along with that.
O'Neal's got 4 fouls. You know, this is one of the interesting things about the perception of the Jazz, but I think what they've established in this playoff, a mean streak, a strong supporting cast, and there you see 4 fouls on Shaquille O'Neal.
What you see here, and what Karl is mad about, because he gets racked, there's no doubt about it, and he goes down hard, and he may have a little sore neck after that one. But then on the left side, Ori takes a shot there, and you see right there, Hugh Evans looking right at him, and on the spot, and from there, all you got to do is you can keep looking for the official, but better yet, you better look for the door. You're out of here.
Ori only had 3 points in the game, but his threat, a big man outside with the ability to shoot the outside shot, is now gone from Los Angeles.
Yeah, and it was I mean, the whole thing was bad from Ori's perspective. It was an ill-advised, non-thinking play. There is no necessity to do something that bad.
Flagrant on Shaquille O'Neal, a technical on Malone. Ori is ejected for throwing a punch. And a technical on Ori on top of that. So here's Karl Malone with 8:51 to play in this third. Let's keep track now of where this game goes from this point.
I would tend to say this one, the way the circumstances came out, the benefit of the doubt starts to go to the Jazz. I mean, because nothing they really did from this perspective warranted that kind of play. Shaquille's foul, I don't really have a problem with, frankly, because I don't think he tried to hurt Karl Malone. I think Karl took offense to it, and I can reasonably understand it. I don't think he tried to hurt him.
Utah's got their biggest lead of 11. 8:45 to play in the third quarter. John Stockton beat Van Exel, but hit it off the rim. And here comes Van Exel the other way, met by Malone, doubled by Stockton, and a three is off the fingertips of O'Neal.
No, it's just got to go the other way.
They changed the call. They'll reverse the call.
They haven't changed it yet, but if he has a clear view, they will change it. And that's what he's asking. Did you have a clear view? And the clear view says it should be Jazz ball. That's a good officiating there. That's Ron Garrison. Talked to Derek Stafford. Stafford had a clear view, and it differed from what Garrison saw, and that's why the change is made.
Malone up high, bringing out Campbell. Threw it away, picked up by O'Neal. Rare turnover, and just the 8th in the game by the Utah Jazz.
Stockton thought he was going to roll. He didn't.
O'Neal the miss, and a ferocious rebound. The 12th tonight by Karl Malone. Stockton, Hornacek, Malone tipped out of bounds. Oh, it's going to be off the fingertips and ricochets off of Malone.
Yeah, Karl may need to come down. He's amped a little bit, as they say. He's still amped after that circumstance because he never got there and never settled himself.
O'Neal's got 4 fouls. Karl Malone has scored 23 points, has 12 rebounds. Utah enjoying their biggest lead of the game. And now for Los Angeles, no Robert Horry, and a physicalness that we have seen in this series, but not to that degree until just then.
No, you really haven't. And I think one of the things that happens here is when you get players thrown out, now everybody second guesses how aggressive they need to be. And Shaquille has to second guess it even more because he has 4 fouls. He gets his 5th. He has to sit down with 6 minutes to go, with 8 minutes to go here. So we've had a lot of activity in 4 minutes.
There's O'Neal tonight, 14 points, 9 rebounds. And he is coming off game 4, where he had 34 points and 11 rebounds.
He can get his way, and I think what is the consideration is of the Jazz, Shaquille can get his way. Just don't let anybody else beat him. Good help.
Ostertag went on Eddie Jones, altered the shot. Utah the other way. Stockton on the fly. Malone will post, and there's Hornacek on the wing. And he'll find Malone working on Campbell, doubled by Kersey. Shot clock at 9.
They got him where he wants.
Stockton, Malone. Rebound, Shaquille O'Neal gobbles it up. He's got his 10th rebound. Here comes Van Exel the other way. Lakers down by 11. Biggest deficit tonight.
Jazz do a good job getting back defensively. Nick is taking it upon himself. He's getting in that corner. That's the second three-pointer he's made over there.
And now call it a 2-point shot. So he's got 19 in the game. And the Lakers trail by 9.
I'm telling you, both Stockton and Hornacek do as good a job as anybody in basketball of taking the shot and then coming back and making a play. Now, Jeff Hornacek does a good job defensively here. He's down at the bottom of your screen, down in. Now watch him get his body in position to force the shot to have to come back to Ostertag, and that's why Eddie Jones doesn't get the shot up, because of the defensive position of Jeff Hornacek. Eddie Jones just pushed Hornacek in the back. This is frustration fouls that you're starting to see here. I mean, because Jones is guarding Hornacek, he's just running across to set the pick, and he pushes Hornacek in the back. And the problem that you have is the next foul they have there, you're in the penalty with almost 7 minutes to go.
4 on Eddie Jones, 4 on Shaquille O'Neal, and Horry is in the locker room, ejected for throwing a punch.
That's illegal. They have done this time and time again. You've got to, your man has got to come together. The Lakers have done what they have done. Now watch what happens here. Watch Shaquille O'Neal. You have to come together. Shaquille is just going to switch on the Karl Malone who's over here. You can't do that unless your player comes in the same area. They don't come in the same area. There's no way that Shaquille is supposed to go down and switch.
Russell works on Kersey. Good matchup here for Russell. A little screen by Ostertag and back into Ostertag, who tried to tap it in but could not. A rebound by Campbell. Here comes Nick Van Exel.
I've been quite impressive. Ostertag has been able to get that one down over Shaquille.
He's got 8 blocks. Van Exel for 3. Rebound Malone to Stockton. 6:15 in the third. Utah by 9. Hornacek working on Jones. He's got 4 fouls. They may go at Jones.
Now, the Karl Malone is the one that wants the ball, because you have Campbell wanting to. He's got 3 fouls. Another illegal defense is called on the other side.
Illegal defense on Del Harris's Los Angeles Lakers. And there's our Chevy scoreboard with the New York Knicks taking a 3-1 lead on Miami. Of course, the Knicks beat Miami 3-1 in the regular season series.
Yeah, Miami's just, they have not been able to get the third score. They got Jamal Mashburn, who's a guy that has some offensive ability. This is a new circumstance from Mashburn. and he's playing against one of the most experienced playoff teams in the East.
And you coach Mashburn.
Yeah, and he's got some growing up to do in terms of the playoff situation. It's just harder and more difficult to get a shot.
Here's Malone working on Campbell. Shot clock down to 10. Out to Stockton, who glances up at that clock. Works on Van Exel. Out to Russell. Over Jones. Jones may have gotten a hand on it. The hustle of Hornacek, and he calls timeout.
When they get a full, he'll take a 20-second timeout. But I really thought there was a chance that ball had gone out on the Lakers, but Hornacek hustles over. You see the Jazz still doing the kinds of things they need to do, making smart plays.
Roughly 3 minutes has gone by since Horry was ejected. O'Neal clotheslined Malone. It was 60-51 then. It's 63-53 now. So a little difference in the game. And have you noticed anything, the subtleties of the game? Anything different there?
The Jazz have decided to try to, I think, they want to get to the basket. They've run their pick and roll 2 or 3 times. And John Stockton has turned the corner and not looked back to Karl Malone. I expect him to start doing that because Malone has got it going offensively. You need to get it to the big fella. And I'm sure that's what they're talking about, is how to get something out of that pick and roll.
This would be a nice entrance, too, for Byron Scott in the game, but he's got the bad wrist, and he's on the bench, but they could use his outside shooting with Horry gone.
They could use all the help they can get at this point. The Lakers are trying to come up with options.
Stockton to Russell and back to Stockton. Malone posting on Campbell, but outside his comfort zone for half. Now maneuvers inside, doubled by O'Neal, out to Hornacek. Shot clock at 4, knocked away by Van Exel, picked up by Hornacek. Stockton for 3.
Oh my goodness.
What a shot.
What a shot. 3 seconds on the shot clock after a very solid defensive play by Van Exel, and Stockton is able to drill it.
Utah has their biggest lead of 13. Campbell. Lucy for 2. Rebound Campbell. It's about as tenacious as we've seen them, and then it's followed by an O'Neal dunk.
But it comes from, as you take a look at Byron Scott, with that electrical stimulation or whatever that, all of that good stuff Scott Hastings called it, where he's getting some medication. Eldon Campbell at least got active to go get the offensive rebound.
4:40 remaining in the third quarter. Utah by 11. Malone set a little screen for Stockton, then back to Karl, who works on Campbell, and the shot clock at 4. Stockton, another desperation shot, this time it won't go. Look at the hustle of Ostertag with the little Dennis Rodman to boot.
What a good effort. Now, those are the kind of plays the Lakers have got to come up with if they want to win.
That will win series for you.
Well, they just need a game. They can worry about a series later.
Out of bounds off Los Angeles. 8 to shoot, 4-12 to play. Utah shooting 47%. The Lakers 39% from the floor. Isley in for Stockton.
It's John Stockton was getting a little winded. So now you got some fresh legs to come in and guard Nick Van Exel.
Hornacek for 3. O'Neal.
Took it kind of quickly, but there was only 8 seconds on the shot clock. That's why he took it.
Russell, Malone, Hornacek, Ostertag, Isley guarding Van Exel. 4 to play in the third. O'Neal with 4 fouls, doubled by Russell, swings it out to Kersey. And Kersey from Jones for 2, rebound by Malone. He's got 15 rebounds.
Tough shot to have to take coming off the bench.
3:40 in the third. Utah by 11. Malone the screen. Hornacek thinking he's got Campbell in the mismatch, and into Malone, and a pass out of bounds. And there goes Karl into Fajardo for throw. And
it was a bad pass.
It was. And out of bounds, the ball goes off of Utah.
The pass needed to be in the air a little bit longer because Malone was trying to hold off Kersey, and then he just tried to make an effort to none other try to get a foul call, and the officials wisely just let the play go.
Lakers hanging in, but they need a spurt here to end the third. O'Neal double, out to Jones, over to Kersey. And they're going to Jerome Kersey a lot more as he tries to tangle up inside some Utah defense, and he's fouled. And the second is called on Ostertag.
Well, the reason they're going to Kersey is because he's the guy being left open, either by his man, defensive man going to double team, or his man coming over to Eddie Jones. Because between the two, you would rather have Kersey shoot a shot than Eddie Jones, who can make the three-pointer with such consistency.
Well, Kersey had his best years, of course, with those Western Conference champion Portland teams.
Yeah, what happened just there was the official stopped the pickup some of the balloons or some of the other things, and that's why you saw Jerome Kersey go up with the ball and come back down with it.
And he hits the second one. So the Lakers are brought to single digits again.
No, they haven't gone away, and that's what I'm most impressed with about this young team. They've continued to play and try to get themselves in a position to get a win.
Isley to Malone. Isley got his screen, and look at him take it down the lane. Rebound by Shaquille O'Neal out to Van Exel. The Lakers want to run. Malone hampered Van Exel a bit, and Jones
Tough shot.
Bank it in. Rebound by Jones.
Yeah, he was not ready to take the shot. It was a tough shot for Eddie Jones. They've got to get it down on the block. Throw it to O'Neal and let him play.
Here he goes. He's got 16.
Back. Now work.
That repost you talked about.
Go to work. It's hard to guard him.
That's the third foul on Ostertag. So Shaquille O'Neal fighting and digging and scratching and clawing for everything he can come up with. He'll be at the line when we come back. The Lakers within 9.
Call your cable operator today and ask about CNN-SI, the sports news network.
Temple Square in downtown Salt Lake City, Utah. And inside that fortress, you see the home of the Mormon Church. And inside the Utah Jazz defensive fortress, you'll find Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, they're doing everything. Shaquille has to face this every night. See a body put on him, does a good job. Now repost. Now watch. This is a good move for a big man. I mean, that's a tough move. Now, with the exception of the fact Shaquille didn't go down.
He's like a pinball inside.
Yeah, but he's a pinball that can take a lot of, you know. He's a guy very much like we talk about Wilt Chamberlain that has to take that kind of abuse, and people are pleased that they have somewhat of a gentle personality, because you don't want to make these kind of people mad and let them start just running ripshod over you, because there's not a lot to do when they just start coming full force.
There's the Shaq story moments ago. Another rebound, number 16 by Malone. Every night he faces it. It's got to be very, very frustrating.
Yeah, but he's got to at some point recognize, I agree, it's frustrating. That's part of what they're going to do. Now, what can I do to take advantage of it? And he's still learning that whole process as well.
Malone to Hornacek. Works on the rookie Kobe Bryant. They got a little switch defensively. That gave Malone a chance to shoot, but he couldn't get it to go, and a rebound by Kersey.
Well, because you had Malone shooting and Hornacek trying to get the rebound. But Hornacek's like the third leading rebound on the team in the playoffs. The guards do a good job rebounding for the Jazz.
Kersey the screen, single coverage Isley on Van Exel. Out to Kobe Bryant for 3. Rebound by Van Exel. And that was a big shot, because now it is a 6-point ball game.
And you can see chasing the loose balls down now are the Jazz. The Lakers.
7-0 run by Los Angeles.
Yeah, they're chasing them down, and they're playing with a sense of urgency. That's the way they should be.
Brooks is on Malone. Nice feed to Russell.
He'll miss it. He was off balance when he finally caught it.
O'Neal's got 13 rebounds.
Yeah, it was a good pass by Malone, but Russell never caught his balance.
A little spurt here by the Lakers, now on a 7-0 run over the last 3.5 minutes. As we wind down the third quarter, Bryant looking for O'Neal. Cross court to Kersey with an athletic catch. Shot clock at 3. Brooks inside, hacked by Foster. Rooks to the free throw line. Foster's got 4.
Yeah, Foster got himself in foul trouble, but what was good about the play was Jerome Kersey. He was able to ball fake the defender out away from the basket. And then, okay, now watch him ball fake it. He'll take it like he's going to throw it out the other way. And you see Sean Rooks come down. And then coming over the foul is Greg Foster. So it's Jerome Kersey's ability to get the ball and ball fake the defender away from the basket.
Double teaming, the triple teaming of Shaquille O'Neal has forced Los Angeles to be resourceful. As you see Derek Fisher, the rookie, coming in.
Playoffs force you to be resourceful, because the technology today, with the way you can use even computers and the get teams tendency, says, I know what you're going to do. Then you need players to just make plays based upon what actually happens on the floor. So that's what you see out here.
5-point game.
Thank you.
Well, you gave me part of your hamburger. I had to say something. 8-0 run by Los Angeles Chicken. Excuse the taste of like that. Here's Isaac. Into Campbell, swatted away by Rooks as he took it down the lane.
Lakers playing with some attitude.
Yes, they've got to.
Well, they should have been for the other 3 games. They are today.
Both teams shooting right around 40% for the game. Utah has not scored in 4.5 minutes.
I don't know if Juan knows how much time is on the shot clock.
They took the shot nonetheless. Another miss, and here comes Los Angeles riding an 8-0 run. Official and a cry foul into Karl. As Malone takes a breather with his 23 and 16 tonight.
Well, you can tell they like the big dog, because they'll give a bark when he makes a play, and he's barking at his teammates, trying to ensure that they keep the energy and spirit they need for the balance of this third quarter.
We have got a great fourth quarter in store. The Lakers have shown new life. Utah has led most of the game. And Shaquille's got 2 fouls to give. Malone has been hot. We've seen a flagrant foul on O'Neal. It's had a little bit of everything in this game. Karl knocked away by Campbell. Picked up by Isley.
Violation.
And a shot clock violation on the Jazz. 11.3 with which to work for Los Angeles.
Eldon Campbell makes that play because he gets up on Antoine Carr as he tries to take the shot, and he partially blocks it, and then the Jazz are scrambling, so they don't come up with anything offensively. And thinking offensively is Dale Harris, who's going to put Nick Van Exel in, who's had a great offensive night, and he's put him in for Jerome Kersey. And now you got guys that can break down the defense.
21 for Van Exel tonight. Coming off a 15-point game in game 4. He had 17 in game 3.
This is what they wanted. Kobe Bryant can break you down here. See, he can get to the basket.
Carr the rebound. And we have got a war in store in the fourth quarter. It's a 5-point game at the end of 3. 66-61. With the Lakers pushing hard at the end of the third quarter with an 8-0 run. That sets up the fourth. The Lakers facing elimination. A Utah win. They go to the finals of the Western Conference.
We could do it from the night to the daylight.
When was the Shaq attack created? Like, what was the day when it just went down?
I don't know the exact day, but I remember when I was 6'8", 6'9", I couldn't really dunk. What? And one day I went outside with a sock, and I dunked the sock, and I dunked the volleyball, and I dunked the basketball. If you just dunk the ball hard, you look in the camera and make a face like it. The game is mental, Bill.
It's mental, right?
Mental.
This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the expressed written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
We go to the fourth, and that is not Evel Knievel, but the Jazz mascot. The Lakers find themselves in a ring of fire. A loss tonight, they are eliminated. Let's go to Scott Hastings.
Speaking of a ring of fire, Del Harris pretty fired up during that last timeout. He says we got back in here by limiting Utah's second shots and finally playing together. Utah's Jerry Sloan said, hey guys, we got to go back to square one. They're getting us, they're stroking us, and we're not accepting the challenge.
Malone is on the bench. Shandon Anderson is in the game. Laker defense and a timeout after the Kersey steal to begin the fourth.
Yeah, the Lakers have come out and they've been aggressive, and they've played this way for a while. I said you've got to win the quarter. Karl Malone and the Jazz did not win the third quarter. It was won by the Lakers 16-13. Lakers down 5.
The complexion of the game is turning in Salt Lake. The Dutch boy in the paint statistics tonight. 66-61 the score on the board. Utah, but on the screen in front of you, the Lakers have won in the paint.
Yeah, they've done a good job being on in the paint. And then the Jazz haven't been able to get done what they want. You see the two stars doing what they need to do. The Jazz had 8 fast break points at the half. They only have 8 now. the Lakers picked up 3 for themselves in that third quarter.
O'Neal is in with 4 fouls. He works on Foster, doubled by Anderson. Van Exel swings it to Bryant and a foul, and it's on Chris Morris.
Yeah, when you attack Kobe Bryant, you have to attack knowing that Bryant is good enough to put the ball on the floor, get to the basket, and as well as shoot the shot. So you must, again, go under control and with good balance.
Robert Horry was ejected halfway through the third quarter with a punch he threw at Hornacek. He is gone. Here's Kersey. They've gone to him a lot. Rejected by Carr. And a foul on the Utah defense.
Yeah,
that's on Morris. He's got 3.
But the bench for the Lakers is doing a much better job here. Morris gets beaten right off the bat, coming over to help, and even probably having a chance at a basket was Kersey. They didn't give him the basket. He's at the foul line. Defensively, Morris has been the one who's fouled the last 2 times.
We talk about bench scoring, but not a real discernible difference between the two.
Yeah, LA 5, Utah 7, so they haven't got what they want. But the Jazz have depended on that bench, and it has been very, very good. It even helped win the first game here in Utah.
Karl Malone is back in with Stockton, Morris, Carr, and Anderson.
Watch the trap.
Real trap Stockton. Anderson. And Morris. Shot clock at 7. Campbell the foul.
What a bad decision by Eldon Campbell. You've got a guy who can possibly beat you on the floor, and you're out there, he goes for the shot, and you foul him in the shot motion. That's not something Eldon want to do, and neither did Del Harris want Eldon to do that, picking up his 4th foul.
He's got 4. Shaq has 4.
And I looked at Karl Malone because I was wondering what he was going to say on that play. He walked right to John Stockton and said, "You get the ball." You want your leader to have it so you can get yourself organized. The big thing here is you need the organization. Stockton is the best in the business, as good as anybody anyway, in getting his team organized. That's why they've had so much success here. You don't win 64 games without having a sense of organization and some discipline with that organization.
The first Utah points in over 6 minutes, going back to the third quarter.
Well, the real question was, is it the last run the Lakers are going to make? But the Lakers have to make the run.
6-point Laker deficit. And Exel to O'Neal. He's got 17. Kersey to Bryant. Screen by Campbell. Drawing traffic. Bryant out to Kersey. He's open.
See, and I don't think it is, because they've got guys on the floor that can create, particularly Bryant. And then Van Exel's had a chance to kind of sit down and get his legs under him as well.
10:35 in the fourth. The winner moves on. It's the Lakers. They go to a game 6. If it's Utah, they go to the Western Conference Finals. Malone the miss. Kersey tried to get the rebound. Van Exel gets it.
Look at Nick. If he gets to that corner, he's had great success over that corner with the 3-point shot.
Here it comes. Rebound Campbell. Out to Van Exel. And to Bryant. Thought about 3. And here he comes inside, colliding with Carr, and a foul on Antoine Carr.
They call a foul.
3 on Carr.
Carr would look to be in position to take the charge. The official felt that indeed was not the case.
Morris is gone, and
Carr looks like he has position here. They call the foul. They call that foul on Morris. They had to call it on Morris because Carr is there, and Morris comes across the top and hits across the top of the hand.
Morris has 3. Anderson guarding Bryant. A nice array of moves by Kobe Bryant with a big-time hit.
Oh, I told you he can play. You were talking about a young kid. He can get going offensively, man.
It is a 2-point game. Watch this little shake and bake.
Yeah, well, he gets Shandon Anderson started back, and Anderson comes back and tries to get to the shot. By the time he gets there, it's too late.
And Anderson can defend.
He can defend, but this young man can get to the basket, has complete confidence in his ability to play at this level.
1-point game, just under 10 to play. They trap Stockton. They give to Anderson. They dump it to Russell for 3. Carr took it away from O'Neal, out of bounds and off of Utah.
Well, the Lakers are getting what they want out of the trap. You want to force a jump shot. They're getting it. And if you get it on the weak side and usually way to the right side, Shaquille is going to be on the other side or try to get there to get rebounding position.
Lakers take a lead with 9.5 to play in the fourth. LA's only lead was in the first quarter, 10-9. Van Exel for the lead. Lakers on top for the first time since the first quarter.
Great job being aggressive.
We talked about the inside game all night long for Los Angeles, and you've been proven right.
Well, thank you, but it's more just the aggressiveness of the play. You just got to take the ball to the basket and try to get fouled.
Meanwhile, a team that is hanging on by their fingernails and a foul. It's on O'Neal, and he's got 5.
I go right back. If he's going to play you like that, I go right back, and I'd make Dale make a decision as to whether to keep him on it. Use your quickness, make the big fella move. He tries to get his hand on the ball, but he hand checked first. Oh, they get the ball in. I'd go right at him. I don't care who he's got. Even if it's Antoine Carr, make him play.
So Del Harris gambles just a bit. Here comes Stockton. Around the perimeter, Russell picked up by Campbell into Carr, working on O'Neal. You're right, they go right at him. Now here's Stockton outside, 7 to shoot, and down the lane. Both is swatted by O'Neal and counted for 2. Utah back on top by 1.
Yeah, you got to. That's not a decision you make here. They're struggling to get offense. You want to just try to go position yourself. Shaquille goes over, and it's clearly coming down. He throws it into the stands, but you don't want to do that one, not now. See, that's okay early when you want to intimidate, and not as you start getting down in the fourth quarter.
Bryant bringing down the ball. Van Exel on the side is an off guard, and Bryant stripped of it, out of bounds, off his knee, ricochets away. Utah's basketball.
Yeah, it came off his leg. When you go in the paint like that, you've got to go with it stronger, and that's what he'll learn playing in the playoffs.
O'Neal will lead.
Well, it's a good move by Dell to take Shaquille out. Because if I'm the Jazz, I'm going to try to make him play defense every time.
Malone setting a screen. On his set, blowing by Bryant. Rebound by Nick Van Exel, 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists.
And he's been strong for the Lakers.
8:10 to play.
This is a mismatch that favors the Lakers because Kobe Bryant is quicker and is taller than John Stockton.
And Stockton draws a personal foul. He's got 3, 8:01 to play.
Yeah, that's one of the matchups the Lakers like to get to is Kobe Bryant having to guard Stockton because Bryant can post him up if he has to, or he can shoot over the top.
Kobe Bryant at the free throw line. Playoff action continuing tomorrow on TNT. Of the doubleheader in the special time, 7 o'clock Eastern. 7 o'clock Eastern, Game 5, Sonics and Rockets. And at 9:30 Eastern, Game 5, Hawks and Bulls. Everyone thought Chicago was dead. And as always, followed by Inside the NBA, Vince Cellini will host that. 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. Doubleheader NBA playoff action out here on TNT.
The one thing about Shaquille getting in foul trouble, Kevin, is that you don't have to look for a place to get him a break. Del Harris got a break basically because you got to take him out of the game so he'll be fresh later.
Hornacek to Russell. The Hornacek, they've been trapping Stockton once he crosses the timeline, trying to eat up some time on that shot clock, which now shows 9 for Malone. Rebound by Jones. Malone now has grown cold. He has missed 4 consecutive shots.
There's shots that the Jazz want him to take.
Jones. Van Exel. 7.5 to play. Campbell over Malone, and
he pushed Antoine. Kersey did.
That's 4 on Jerome Kersey.
I mean, Kersey had position, and there was no doubt about it. I don't know why. I mean, Antoine had position. Dale knows you don't need a foul like that.
Hornacek into Kersey, and then doubled by Bryant.
They've done what they wanted to with this press, and that's to keep the Jazz from getting the position that the Jazz would like with the ball.
Van Exel with the body block on Hornacek, and Van Exel's got 2.
Van Exel, why? He comes out because he thinks there's a shot going to happen, and then Hornacek makes sure that he gets in the path of Van Exel. And the Jazz just want to get themselves into the penalty, of which they'll be the next time the Lakers commit a foul.
Malone. Hornacek and Carr over Campbell. Utah's back on top by 1.
Well, what they wanted is to send Carr through, so the defense had to pick him up, and Hornacek steps up. He's made shots. You go to cover him, and then you can get the pop out and the shot by Antoine Carr.
A trap with Carr and Stockton. Campbell. Malone knocked it away. Picked up by Russell. Bryant the foul.
But they're now in the penalty.
Utah 72, Lakers facing elimination 71. 6.5 to play.
Sonics Rockets tomorrow at 7. Get the NBA playoffs on TNT.
Right here is the matchup we want to watch. You can see the ball is there, but Karl Malone has had the number of Eldon Campbell, it seems like the entire series. Now watch Malone get it. Now the reaction is very much indicative right here of Eldon Campbell and the Lakers when the circumstances have not gone well. You see, he does not get back. Unfortunately for the Lakers, there was a smart player in Kobe Bryant. As you take a look at one heck of a quarterback in Steve Young.
Pretty smart player in Steve Young. Let's go to Scott Hastings.
Thanks, Kevin. That last time out, Del Harris telling his fellas, stay focused, stay in it. We're going to win this basketball game. Don't look to the officials to be bailing you out. When you go to the basket, you got to go strong, and you know what Karl Malone's going to do. Talking to Shaq, he's going to slap down, try to take the ball out of your hands.
And that's exactly what we were talking about with Eldon Campbell. That is a trademark defensive move by Karl Malone because he doesn't have the height. He tries to get the ball before you go up. Eldon got frustrated, lost his focus. The timeout may help the Lakers reestablish that focus.
O'Neal is in, but just a foul away from calling it a game. He's got 5. You saw the Utah run since the ejection.
Bryant. Tough shot. There was absolutely nowhere to go, and that shows you the ability of that young man.
Bryant's got 7. Lakers to within 1. That was a Laker run since the ejection, and it's been fairly one-sided. We thought maybe Utah would benefit from the ejection. Flagrant foul. There goes Russell inside.
That basket happens because Shaquille has 5 fouls. He was standing back there but couldn't afford to even come across to try to fake like he wanted to block it because he obviously can't get the 6.
Bryant to Kersey to Van Exel. Kersey knocked away by Hornacek. Picked up inside by Kersey. They'll call the jump ball.
Quick hands on the part of Kersey after Malone was showing up quick hands, and then Kersey does what you have to do at this stage of the game, this stage of the season, get down on the floor. You see Hornacek gets it. Now watch Kersey quick enough to get it back, and then it goes down on the floor, and Kersey, that's the way the Lakers have to get after the game. If there's a loose ball, there should be a blue shirt on the ground. Kersey knocked it out of bounds. He didn't get, what great quickness and control.
5.5 to play. O'Neal. They find the open Eddie Jones. A missed 3, rebound by Malone. He's got 17 rebounds.
Well, that's a shot they really could have used. It backs all the pressure off of the Lakers and would have put it right on the Jazz.
Utah by 3. Big possession here. Antoine Carr. Rebound Van Exel.
Oh, the fans were ready to explode on that one.
Lakers by a 3-point deficit.
Go with the young fella.
Nick Van Exel has a chance to tie it at the free throw line.
I thought he'd come out and try to play a game to get everybody back on his side, but watch the quickness. Explodes to the basket, gets there, and Carr comes a little late. Nick takes the contact and gets it high off the glass with a little English. Take the contact. You got to be able to play through contact and finish plays, and that's one of the plays. That's how you finish it right there.
We're tied at 76. Third tie of the game. Van Exel with 26 points tonight. 4:50 in the game.
He's wide open. They've trapped and left Byron Russell wide open.
Here's Hornacek. Nice feed to an open Carr. What a pass to Malone!
What a great play by Carr. If Malone was in position, Shaquille wanted to make sure that there was no penetration to the basket, and then after that, he left himself exposed to Malone.
Utah by 2. O'Neal to Van Exel, to Kersey, to Jones. Shot clock at 9. Jerome Kersey with the reverse. Oh, he got it to fall. What a play by Jerome Kersey to tie the game at 78.
I mean, what a great play to take it to the basket, and that's what Dale wanted him to do. Now watch. He takes it and does a 360 and gets it up soft enough to get it in. What a good take by Jerome Kersey, who's come off the bench and been huge for the Lakers, getting some loose balls and now completing this three-point play.
Kersey off the bench, 9 points, 3 rebounds. Dropping Stockton again. Malone back to Stockton. 4 minutes to play, regulation. Lakers by 1, facing elimination. Stockton for the lead.
Shots you can get. Pick and roll, Shaquille. Going to stay toward the paint. He really, at this point, does not want to use up any extra energy, does O'Neal, because he needs to save it for the offensive end.
Jones to O'Neal. He was held, and he can't get the shot to go, and Carr was holding onto the reins. 5 on Carr. Earlier tonight, the New York Knicks up their lead on Miami, 3 games to 1. Cheryl Miller will join Vince Cellini inside the NBA immediately following. Again here in Salt Lake as O'Neal hits. He's got 18 points and 13 rebounds as Van Exel, who has not seen eye to eye with his coach most of the year, over there discussing some strategy with Del Harris.
No, they've had tough times, but they've also had some good times. And what they've gotten, as you can see, is that's communication. I was wondering when Greg Ostertag was coming back in the game. They've got Antoine Carr in the game guarding Shaquille because offensively, Antoine gives them more offense, but he doesn't provide a big enough target. They call 3 seconds on Karl Malone. Carr is not a big enough target defensively to get for O'Neal.
Utah 13 turnovers, just 8 for Los Angeles, and that has played into their hand tonight.
Yeah, you can't turn the ball over to the playoffs. It's just that simple.
Both teams shooting 41%. Van Exel's got 26. O'Neal.
That's a bad decision. A repost.
Back in, drawing 3, and he puts it down. And O'Neal with the jam, and the Lakers by 3.
And the Lakers are playing. I mean, if you throw it to those angles, then Shaquille can get the ball back, and then he can get the dunk because Ostertag did not keep Shaquille from going where he wants to go. By the way, not an easy task.
Not easy at all. Lakers by 3.
The dream takes a season. A year's about being part of a team. It's about the dream all this month on TNT.
All right, as a defensive player right down here, and particularly Ostertag, when the ball is thrown back out, you must step to the ball and take the angle away. Ostertag does not do this. Watch, the pass goes, and he does nothing. And Shaquille just keeps coming across the middle because Ostertag never took the middle away. And then Shaquille just does a better job with a step through and a dunk. You've got to step to the ball, cut off the angle to anybody coming, but particularly Shaquille O'Neal, and force the ball back, and then you can get your double team.
O'Neal has had 4 points in this 4th quarter. 21 for the game. 13 rebounds by Shaquille O'Neal. But Bryant has had 7, and Kersey has had 6. Van Exel has chipped in 5, all in the 4th, and Los Angeles with their biggest lead of 3, 83-80, and 3:03 to play.
With a rookie on the floor, 18-year-old rookie, no Byron Scott, Robert Horry gets thrown out of the game. This is playing with character.
Out of bounds off Los Angeles. Shot clock at 7, 2:56 on the big clock.
The question is whether it's a kick, and they're not giving them a new 24. They haven't given it to them.
They will discuss it.
If it's a hand or it's an intentional kick, they say it was not intentional. There's no reset.
One down, 7 seconds. So 7 to shoot, which is what Stockton does.
Got the look you want. I mean, that's probably as wide open look as they're going to get anyway.
Stockton with 19. Van Exel to Jones. O'Neal and Ostertag battling for position. Quickly double, but what a pass inside to Bryant. And O'Neal comes up with another great feed.
Well, it's a great feed that time because it leads to a basket. That's what he's got to be able to do out of the double team. Good read and the ability to get up and finish by Bryant.
Stockton to bring it to a 1-point game.
Putting some pressure on you is John Stockton. Now they've got to get a chance to hold.
21 for Stockton. Lakers by 1. 2:13 to play. And Exel to O'Neal, and it's back to a 3-point Laker lead. O'Neal has gone nuts here with a fourth quarter that has produced 8 points.
But a good job with the pass by Van Exel to read it coming.
Lakers by 3. Here comes.
He just fouled out
Malone, and O'Neal is gone.
Unless they give it to Kersey. He just fouled out. Boy, I mean, the Lakers were doing such a good job. You hate to see that happen. I mean, because he really played a heck of a game. I mean, Karl Malone, the veteran he is, he knows Kersey's in trouble. Because Karl Malone, and so does Shaquille O'Neal, and the mistake is leaving your feet. He left his feet to go get that block. And coming down, they felt that there was a foul on Karl Malone, and Shaquille O'Neal is out of the game.
Here's Karl Malone at the stripe with a chance to bring Utah to within 1 as O'Neal fouls out with 23 points and 13 rebounds.
Well, we get a chance to take a look at it. He makes contact on the arm because the block was good, and then if he doesn't make that contact on the arm, it's a clean block, but he does, and it is a foul.
2-point Laker lead, 1:43 to play.
You can watch Nick try to take over. The other guy I think that'll try to take this over is Kobe Bryant.
Van Exel. An uncharacteristic miss. Rebound by Ostertag. Stockton and the Utah Jazz down by 2. Campbell coming out. Russell inside for the tie. Oh my goodness!
His shot was partially, it looked like it was going to get blocked.
A Jordan-esque type move by Brian Russell. He's got 20. Utah ties it with 1:13 to play.
It now appears that Shaq is suffering from a neck injury.
Of course we're concerned. That's one valuable neck.
Shaq is suffering from taco neck syndrome, TNS. It's caused by his craving for delicious Taco Bell tacos. And he's getting worse with every neck-bending bite.
There's nothing funny about TNS.
It's not natural.
It's a conspiracy, man.
Get some more of those tacos.
Identical shooting in this fourth quarter by both the Lakers and the Utah Jazz. The Laker team, which has not won here in 2.5 years, looking for what would be a pretty good upset.
Circumstances as they are, be a good one, a real good one for them. Both teams shooting relatively 9 of 13 and 8 of 13. But I was saying to you a moment ago, as Jerry Sloan knows, don't think the Houston Rockets aren't sitting at home thinking that there's a chance that they're watching a team that could get extended in the Jazz, and the Jazz know that they have a chance to get out of it and get a little bit of a break.
87 apiece. Van Exel picked up quickly by Stockton. Into Kersey. He's had a big fourth. Into Ostertag, and the Lakers have the lead with 58 seconds to play.
And Jerome Kersey has come up big this game.
O'Neal on the bench, fouling out with 1:47 to play. He led the charge. Now can the rest of the team carry on? One is set to Malone. Shot clock at 8.
He's got it.
Stockton to top.
That help was high.
Timeout Los Angeles. Shades of game 2.
Absolutely. They had a chance in game 2 with the non-call. The Lakers have a chance being down 2 to take the ball to the basket, possibly getting 3 fouls. No help for Stockton, and a finish ties the game.
We're tied. Lakers were down by 13 in the third. O'Neal is fouled out. Neither team has a foul to give. Let's check in with Scott Hastings.
Thanks, Kevin. Down here at the end of the Lakers bench, this play coming in right here is probably going to be, and I left my scrambled writing 101 class too many years ago, but it looks like it's going to be for Jones or Van Exel. But don't forget about the youngster. It's going to be a high pick and roll somewhere with someone fading to the corner.
Yeah, this is an opportunity. If they can get it, they may try to take it quick, but you can get 2 for 1. So if you miss the shot, you come back at the Jazz score, you got another chance to get yourself tied or get the win.
Jones on the drive. Rejected by Ostertag. He's got 9. None bigger than that. We're tied at 89.
They'll still get another shot at it, though. They've got Karl Malone being guarded by Jerome Kersey. They'll go down to that.
It's Karl Malone, 7 to shoot for the lead.
Ostertag's underneath that.
He's got the rebound, picked up by Van Exel. Timeout, Los Angeles. They burned their last one with 11.3 to play in regulation. An incredible finish for a team in the Lakers who were down by 13 in the third. O'Neal playing in foul trouble the entire second half, coming back to eventually take a lead of 3 with 3 minutes to play. Back and forth it is gone, and we're tied at 89. Lakers will have it as you see what comes up tomorrow. Sonics and Rockets in game 5. Hawks and Bulls in game 5. It begins at a special time tomorrow night. Doubleheader action, 7 o'clock Eastern, right here on TNT. And then after all that, we wrap up the day at the NBA with Inside the NBA with Vince Cellini. 7 o'clock tomorrow night, right here on TNT.
Kevin, it is the game that I really had an inkling it was going to be like this. Something said that it would be a well-contested game by the Lakers. They had the circumstances, first of all, 4-14 here. They haven't won many games here in Delta Center in Utah. They are playing now undermanned. They have been besieged, I'm sure, by the press in light of the circumstances with Nick Van Exel and the coaching staff. They've been able to get enough things going against them that every now and then you have to take the me against the world scenario, of which people think is blasé or cliche. The facts are that is the only approach to take, and they have taken it, and I suspect now they'll come out and get someone going to the basket. They had Eddie Jones going. They can also get it to Kobe Bryant to go there as well.
Well, in game 4 a couple days ago, there was the well-publicized argument on the bench between Van Exel and the coach, Del Harris, but Van Exel tonight, 26 points. And the thing about the Lakers tonight, Quinn, which you talked about, is they have been so versatile. They have been so resilient. O'Neal's up, they just go to Kersey. And when Van Exel might be in trouble, they go to Kobe Bryant. A lot of things have happened. And I'm wondering, you know, Scott Hastings in our pregame talked about a team meeting by the Lakers before the shoot-around today. It looks like it may have served as a unifying force.
I think what really got them together was the incident where they basically were embarrassed by the fact that they've got a coach and a player that don't see eye to eye, and they let it get out. Because you have that periodically, but you don't like to have those circumstances outside of your locker room.
Lakers do not have a timeout. 11.3 to play in regulation. You see the score. Lakers with a furious comeback, and this has been a game for Los Angeles that obviously they need to win. Lost and they're eliminated from the playoffs, and here we go.
I see a calm in LA that is good for them. They feel confident in this position. This is a tough matchup.
Kobe Bryant will take it. An 18-year-old rookie, short. No time remains.
But guess what? But for there is no time. But you know, Shaquille O'Neal has fouled out, and the Jazz don't necessarily feel disappointed. They're going into overtime, having to play against the Lakers with Shaquille sitting on the bench.
They almost got the timeout in. Utah tried to get just a fraction of a second. They couldn't. We've got overtime in Salt Lake in Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinal.
The NBA playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. By Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. By the Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning. And by AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
We are at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. This, of course, the capital. And there's Kobe Bryant with the chance to win it.
Well, he gets the move. I mean, this is pretty good defense. But look, he takes the shot and he shoots it short. But I've got to say this, for an 18-year-old to take this shot, And you remember the Michael Jordan commercial. That's why I succeed, because he's willing to take the shot when it's on the line. Let's give him some credit for that.
To Scott Hastings.
Jerry Sloan, that timeout right there at the end of the regulation, told his guys, hey, you guys gave up 4 layups to end that game, and you got to cut harder offensively. There's no shot blockers for the Lakers.
An Exel thought about a 3, maneuvers by Stockton, feeds to a wide open Kobe Bryant.
Boy, I tell you what. We'll see how strong-minded he is, because that hurts confidence both in Kobe and his teammates throwing him the ball. He has shot 2 air balls in a row. He's got to come up and play like it's nothing. You just missed the shot. That's all that happened.
Stockton to Malone, knocked away by Bryant, picked up by Malone, knocked away by Campbell.
This is a good no call. I didn't think the shot they're calling whether or not it's good, and I agree. I didn't think it got over the rim. Karl Malone wanted a 3-point play. He's wide open, but again, Eldon comes over, does a good job, gets a hand on it. Now, I never thought this one got above the rim. See, it never, wow. Boy, I stand corrected there.
Kersey picks up foul number 5. Karl Malone, 26 points tonight. Matches number 27, a player who, inspired by the death of a young leukemia patient, 13-year-old boy here in the Salt Lake City area. And that boy, before he died, gave Karl a porcelain angel. Karl touches it for good luck before every game. That'll rub off with the team. The Jazz looking to go to their 4th Western Conference final in the last 6 years. They lead by 2. We are in overtime. Van Exel, Kersey, Bryant. They're working on Bryant hard. Here's Kersey for a 2-point shot in the tie and a rebound by Hornacek.
Yeah, but they're making them take much more difficult shots. Like Jerry Sloan said, you had 4 layups you gave up. These are jump shots the Lakers have to make. You got to go to it. This is a mismatch. Kersey cannot guard Karl Malone.
Plus, he's got 5 fouls. Malone saves it, called the timeout as he went out of bounds.
Now, they only got 2 seconds on the shot clock. You don't necessarily want to use that one, but that's the situation they're in.
Brought a smile to the face of Jerry Sloan. He's been involved in these a long time, as has Del Harris. We're in overtime, and Utah leads by 2. Del Harris trying to get in the heads of his young players, and you're wondering what their mental state is right now. Shaquille O'Neal fouling out with under 2 to play in regulation. They had it tied and a chance to win the game on a shot by Kobe Bryant, which missed. What is the thought process now of Los Angeles?
If I'm Del Harris having Shaquille O'Neal on the bench, I'm more concerned about their emotional state. Because the opportunity to win was when Kobe Bryant had the ball, the last shot of the game, and he missed it. Now you have to wonder, does the wind get taken out of the sails? Do they think they're defeated? And if they think that way, they are definitely defeated. Shoot it. Good block.
Rejected by Campbell, and a 24-second violation called on Utah. Good defense by Los Angeles.
Yeah. With Eldon Campbell, Jerry Sloan knows this. He's a shot blocker. That one for orchestrating is a shot fake, because Campbell was going to go for the shot.
3:40 in overtime.
The big problem for the Lakers is where they go for offense. Eldon was good big when Shaquille was out 26 games.
Ostertag got a hand on that one as well. He's got 10 block shots, 10 of them. Stockton. Malone. Malone's got 30 points and 20 rebounds. Van Exel out to Campbell. Bryant, big time 3, and he can't hit it. Rebound by Eddie Jones in Los Angeles.
Eddie Jones gets it, but Kersey is the one that kept it alive. But for the Lakers, Kobe Bryant wasn't afraid to take the shot, and that's the real question. Come back and take the next one. Next time, maybe take a step in, though.
Bryant the dance. Gives to Kersey, and a whistle, and a kicking foul called on Malone.
Yeah, Karl went down and kind of got that leg going up, and Kobe Bryant was really out of control. Ended up getting it to Kersey. And Kersey tried to finish. It's a non-shooting foul.
trying to maneuver, locates Campbell. Rebound by Kersey. Boy, has he played a great fourth quarter. Campbell inside. Can't get it to go. Kersey tries to follow. Foul on Ostertag. It's a loose ball foul. The fourth quarter performance by Kersey carrying over here to overtime. And 4 fouls on Ostertag.
Now, Ostertag but he's making his presence felt because there are no easy baskets going in. As Eldon Campbell got hit on the head, you got to shake it off and play.
Eldon Campbell has missed now 10 consecutive shots. 10.
I don't think he's emotionally been into this series at all. I think Karl Malone basically has this guy's mind, and he's really struggled to get himself into it. He can get where he wants.
Kobe Bryant to Campbell. Ostertag picks up number 5, and he really challenges Campbell, who goes up and will find himself at the line.
The play is made by Kobe Bryant, though. Because Kobe Bryant breaks the defense down, and that's what you need. Watch. He's got one. Now watch coming. Ostertag has to come over. Karl is there. Ostertag comes. And Kobe just waits up there. And no doubt about it, about the foul.
Eldon Campbell. 5 points. 3 of 3 from the line, but a horrible 1 of 13 from the field.
But he struggled. He's staying in it. His best game to date in the series has been 14 points. Well, at least they have him on the floor because they would not want to be without he and Shaquille under the circumstances.
2-point game, 93-91 with 2:05 to play in overtime.
You know where your bread is buttered. Your bread is buttered. You get to it.
Couldn't get it, but he was fouled. He'll go over the free throw line.
If it's Kersey, he fouled out, Kevin.
Kersey's gone. 6 fouls. He becomes the second Los Angeles Laker to foul out, along with Shaquille O'Neal, and Sean Rooks will take his place.
Put off the bench in the locker room, both Jerome Kersey and Byron Scott, I think, have been enormous pluses for this young Laker team. I talked to Mitch Kupchak, the general manager of the Los Angeles Lakers today, and he has said that's really what's helped this team grow in light of the fact they only have 4 players from last year. Shaquille is here. You know, you get Kobe Bryant, just a very young team. Those older guys have really helped keep some stability with the team.
Robert Horry was ejected in that third quarter. They have not played with Byron Scott. O'Neal has fouled out. Well, things have gone against the Lakers. They trailed by 13 in the third, came back to tie, and in fact take a 3-point lead. Kobe Bryant right against the glass and down.
And the challenge. Challenge the defense.
1-point game. Malone working on Campbell. And the fadeaway.
Oh, what a tough shot. A fadeaway over Campbell, and Eldon just kind of looks like I need some help.
Malone with 32. Jazz by 3. And he goes for the tie, and he can't get it. Rebound by Hornacek.
Boy, that would have been a big one for the Lakers. Now you'll watch a veteran team at play. This is working the clock.
Same play. Different verse. Rebound Jones. Lakers down by 3, under a minute to play in overtime.
Lakers will take a timeout. It's a good call, so they can try to reorganize. What you want to do is get yourself a good look now, and then come back, because you'll have another chance after the Jazz get possession. You see Katie Malone is pulling for her dad. They're trying to get him to be the MVP. He's for sure the Jazz MVP. It's soon to be determined whether or not he or Michael Jordan will be the league MVP. And they also have Jazz NBA champions pulling for the whole deal here.
Well, the mailman, who I guess in this computer age could be called the email man, is Had a 32-point game going, 20 rebounds as we check in with Scott Hastings.
Thanks, Scott. What a great game. I tell you what, Del Harris, like what Kobe Bryant did when you were talking about that, get some confidence. Well, if your jumper's not going, take it to the hole. Looks like the play he's designed right now. It's going to go down the right side, high pick and roll, and trying to get to the hole. A lot of time, a lot of possessions left.
And that's a good thing because he can go with a number of people, but the one thing that Kobe Bryant can do that not many of the others can do, Eddie Jones can too, is he can get in the air and they can finish. You can get above Van Exel. You may not be able to do the same with Kobe Bryant.
Eddie Jones will inbound for Los Angeles with Rooks, Campbell, Van Exel, and Bryant. O'Neal is out, fouling out. Horry was ejected in the third. And this is what this team's got to play with. Byron's got injured, has not played. Bryant for the tie. He has shot blanks this entire overtime.
Yeah, he's in a tough position. This is not where I think the Lakers and Del Harris wanted him. But under the circumstance, I don't think they had much choice. They got too many weapons in a game like this.
Hornacek. Rebound by Bryant. 15 seconds to go. A chance to tie. Van Exel with it.
You got a chance if it gets close to foul.
Bryant for the tie. Another air ball. Utah will inbound. And then they're stopped by referee.
Well, I stopped momentarily because you feel for Kobe Bryant for what he was trying to do. But the officials, first of all, going to make sure they get the right number, right time on the clock, which probably is going to be closer to 5 seconds. But Karl Malone tried to take the ball out without the officials touching it, which you cannot do under any circumstance. But Kobe Bryant was not afraid to take the shot, but he unfortunately missed not only the one in overtime, but he missed 3 more, and 2 of them were air, and 3 of them were air ball.
Malone inbounds, caught by Russell, fouled by Eddie Jones. 3.5 to play.
For Del Harris and his Laker team, as you look at Malone and Hornacek, circumstances as they are, here's a team that won 56 games. Shaquille O'Neal was out 28 of those games. They go 16-12 with him out. So they have a chance to do something pretty good considering that they are a young team. They're a team that does not have a lot of experience. And I said this before, I thought the expectations were way too high for this team. They are a team that will be good. They've got some more parts to get. But the big fella brings it.
When the Lakers were thriving tonight, it was an inside game that did it. Outside, they've had to rely. O'Neal is out, and they cost them down the stretch.
Field goal percentage is with you when you're shooting from the inside. Without O'Neal, they don't have it.
Pandemonium in Salt Lake City, Utah, as the Jazz are eyeing, with 3.5 seconds remaining, a 4th trip to the Western Conference Finals in the last 6 years.
Well, 4th trip. The difference here, they got home court advantage. Lost last year 4-3 to Seattle. Seattle beat them the 7th game in Seattle. And the Jazz had to come back from 3-1 to get there. So they feel that this is their best opportunity of having home court advantage in light of the fact they have lost just 3 games here in the Delta Center.
If you can think back what O'Neal would have meant to overtime, where would this game be right now?
It's hard to project that, but they would be in a, they got a good chance to win it the way he was playing. Because Ostertag would have had some trouble. And you look at Ostertag fouling out and not having some things up the middle. But they've been able to do a good job. You see Brian Scott knowing that this is the end for a team and knowing he could not help, as could Shaquille in overtime.
In overtime, the Lakers have gone 1 of 10 from the floor. Utah 2 of 5, and a lot of those misses. Young Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, this is one that Kobe's got to figure out. And players do this pretty well. Kobe Bryant's dad, they call him Jelly Bean, Joe Bryant played. This is one where you have to go home and say, son, there's nothing you can do about missing those shots except go practice them, come back next year ready to take the same shot in the same circumstances and just drill it. That's the only thing you can do.
Lakers will inbound, 3.4 to play, trailing by 5.
They're looking to get a three-point shot up if they can. And Nick is the one. They get it to Eddie Jones.
The Los Angeles Lakers shook the Utah Jazz to their foundation. But Utah in overtime prevails 98-93, and the Utah Jazz going to the Western Conference Finals.
The Jazz deserve to go. They're the team with the best record in the Western Conference. You don't win 65